Maybe today was a bit of a downer, and they just, and Northwood scored in the first 16, 17 seconds of the game, caught them by surprise. They were down a little bit and never just really worked their way back into it. In fact, I think Potsdam had to tie that late in the third period to go into OT.
That's right. Mike Saber, of course, he's their all-Mr. Everything, got a goal a couple of minutes left in the third period to send it into the overtime. Now this championship game is going to be interesting. These two clubs met in the first game of the Potsdam tournament, first game of the year for both clubs, and Massena sprinted out ahead 2-0. Again, Canton came back with 3 straight, and then Massena took over in the third period. It ended up winning it, but that game was an interesting game. Could have gone either way, I think.
Last 2 years, these clubs, both Canton and Massena, highly touted. We know what happened last year when that much publicized game down here when they were both ranked number 1 in the state. And again, the Golden Bears coming into this season were ranked number 1 in the up here in the northern part of the state, and dropped a little bit after that first loss to Massena, but they're still ranked 1 and 2 in the Times poll.
That's for sure, and also they're ranked in Division 1 despite the fact that they're going to play Division 2 in the sectionals, and they're ranked right behind Massena. Massena's in second, they're in third.
Can only help them. We talked about that early in the season. I talked to Coach Randy Brown today. That definitely, he's certainly happy that he's playing a Division 1 schedule. He's going to get, he'll get 4 tough games from Massena. He'll get at least 4 tough games from Potsdam, a couple from Seton for sure. That's 10 right there that he wouldn't have gotten if he had played a Division II schedule. So that'll bode well for the Canton Golden Bears when they reach the sectional round.
And he also told me that playing the Division I schedule means a lot less travel. So, everybody's cost conscious, and it saves him a lot of money. He does have to go to Plattsburgh, but he's going to play Seton and Plattsburgh High School as opposed to playing Beekmantown and Northeast Clinton. And it definitely better competition.
Well, the Bears coming into today's game are 3-0 in Division I record. They're 10-1-1. That tie coming against Potsdam, which also had a tie against the Raiders. And the one loss that you mentioned was to Massena in the opening game for both clubs, 7-4, up in the Potsdam tournament.
That's right. Well, the introductions of the starting lineups for Canton Golden Bears, they will be starting John Appleknap in the nets. Rob Parcell will be centering the line of Dan Bullock and Mike Bushaw, and it'll be, I believe, Thad Green and Danny Jacobs starting at the blue line for the Canton Golden Bears. Randy Brown, of course, the coach, Robbie Newvine, the assistant, and they do have a good squad. It's going to be a good game this afternoon, I think.
Randy Brown, former assistant down at Salmon River. This is his third year at the helm in Canton, and he comes into today's game with a record of 46-13-1, and that's a pretty good percentage. I'd say about a 77% winning percentage, so that's pretty successful in any league.
Boy, I guess so. And of course, Randy, back in his playing days, was an outstanding goaltender for St. Lawrence Central.
Yes, he was, and I kid him all the time that goaltenders are of a different breed.
Now, he played at Potsdam College too, did he not?
Yes,
was he
did.
There when you were there?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't there, but he did play at Potsdam College. An outstanding goaltender from St. Lawrence Central. And he had a little injury. He fell down and broke his wrist here a few weeks ago. And I told him kiddingly today, well, that just goes to prove my point. Goaltenders, they don't skate well. They have those posts and crossbars to lean up against, but he fell down during practice, and I think he fractured his right wrist.
Yeah, he did. And, of course, Randy, we were talking with him earlier. Randy's a new daddy. His wife had a baby last week, and he's pretty excited about that, as he should be.
Well, I'm sure he'd like to get a belated present here today with a win over the Raiders.
There you go. Well, if it doesn't happen today, well, they're going to be right back here on Wednesday. So these teams are going to know each other pretty well before this season is over. And now, ladies and gentlemen, again, we have the pleasure of listening to Kesley DiTullio sing the national anthem before we start our game. marvelous rendition of the national anthem by Kesley DeTulio, and we're about ready to go here with the championship game, the Massena tournament, first of two Massena tournaments, the other one coming up in February, and if we have a chance, we'll talk about that one in downtimes during this game, but I don't know if there are going to be too many of them, Dave.
I agree with you, Jerry, but there's a lot of excitement in the air here this afternoon. Good crowd on hand, and I think we're in for a good matchup here this afternoon. One of the keys, I feel, will be if Canton's third unit again can match up to whatever unit Massena has out there. I don't think Coach Brown is going to go, or Coach Long. They're not going to try to match lines. So that's one of the keys. And, of course, the specialty teams always have a big say. And it boils down in tournament time and late season time to those two guys that are parked at either end of the ice in between the pipes. And today for the Raiders, it's Brian Garcia. And you mentioned at the top of the show, John Appleknap will be in goal for Canton.
Two officials, Butch Martin and Mike St. Louis of Lake Placid contingent, a couple of veteran officials, and they always do a good job. It should be interesting here. We'll have to wait and see, but we're looking for a good game as Jason Chilton steps into the face-off circle. Chilton's centering Bergeron and Reed. It'll be Parcell with Bullock and Bushon. We're underway off the face-off. Here comes Bullock across the blue line. He fires it in the corner Massena zone. DeRocher rips it around the boards for Matt Reed on the left side. Reed's long head man Bergeron pokes at it, couldn't get it. Poked away back to the Massena line. DeRocher steps into it. Here comes Derek DeRocher across the blue line, drops for Bergeron. Sebastian gets a weak shot. Appleknap makes the save and kicks it into the corner. Here's Jason Chilton with it. He's knocked off the puck, and Rob Parcell picks it up. Parcell busting down ice on the right side. Aldis knocks him off the puck. It comes in behind the net. Cleared around the boards by the Raiders, picked up by Matt Reed from Massena. Reed bangs it off the boards behind the net to DeRocher. He starts out right side. Headman pass out to center ice, dump back in the zone. Delay off sides as Canton makes a change. Aldis with a puck behind his own net. To Reed on the wing. Reed flips to Chilton. Poke checked away, but following is Aldis. Here comes Massena's Aldis. Ahead to Bergeron off his skate. And Canton's going to come back, and they're going to try to catch Massena on a break here. Brian Coakley winds up his shot. He scores! As Coakley busted in on the left side. That was from just inside the blue line, and it beat Garcia to the stick side, and Canton draws first blood here.
Yeah, that was at, I'd say, about a 50-footer, Jerry. Pretty sharp angle. Coakley used number 5, Kenny Smith, as a partial screen, and I think that kind of bothered Brian Garcia. And another thing, he probably figured he wasn't going to shoot from there, and he was probably playing the passer a little more, but about a 55-footer, and it went in on the short side between Garcia and the post. And the Bears, with a minute and 1 second, are on the scoreboard.
Off the face-off, Frank Joy with a puck in his own end. In the corner now, we've got Chris Appleknap's line out for Canton. Appleknap trying to center it, goes in behind, looks to center again. It's knocked down in front by Joy. He headmans to Trevor Cameron. Here's Cameron going for Tayo, bounces away. Tayo follows, takes it across, looking to center. It's knocked away and picked up by Jeff Gilson, and he dumps it off the boards outside the zone for the Golden Bears. Picked up by Frank Joy from Massena at his own blue line. Here's Joy's headman. Tayo directs it inside Canton territory. Brian Wallace back after it for the Golden Bears. Here's Wallace. Trying to flip it ahead, goes to the blue line. Joy cranks it up, deflected just wide in the corner. Now it's LeBombard in behind the net. Trying to feed to Cameron. Cameron gets tied up, but gets it free to LeBombard. Centering pass, goes back to the point. Here's Joy, flipping it through, bounces right on, save made. And the faceoff will come in the Canton zone. 13:09 left to go in period number 1. On the Corky's Collision scoreboard, Canton leading Massena 1-0.
And officially, as we said, 1:01 of the first period. Brian Coakley unassisted.
Coakley busting in on the left side, trying to take advantage of a Massena line change. Kenny Smith did get over. He used Smith as a screen. The shot from just inside the blue line, and it just kind of crept by Brian Garcia, and it is 1-0 Canton.
Brian's got to blank that out of there. Just forget about it. We've got 2 9/10 periods left to go.
Off the face-off, back to the point, DeRocher. Terry's line out from Massena against the Ed Fay line for Canton. Here's Gladding with it, looking to center to Terry. Gets it back to the point. Aldis cranks it up. It's deflected into the corner. After it, Spanberg. Spanberg has it knocked away, and Fay moves it out to center ice. Spanberg takes him out of the play. It slides all the way back in the Massena zone. Here's Aldis with it. Flipping it to DeRocher. DeRocher starts it ahead to Spanberg. Out to B.J. Terry. Terry has it knocked away, but follows it. But it bounces out to center ice. Spanberg has it taken away by Ed Fay. Fay knocked off the puck by DeRocher. Spanberg is there to drop it to Aldis. Here's Aldis in his own end from Massena. Aldis across the red line, dumps it deep in the Canton zone. Spanberg charges in after it, trying to center it. He's knocked off the puck there by defenseman Danny Jacobs. Terry picks up the loose puck. Centering pass goes all the way back to the point. Aldis keeps it in. Flips it to the open wing. Parcell is there. Doesn't clear the zone. Aldis cranks it up. The shot, the save by Appleknapp. And a big save on a big drive by Aldis. Trying to clear the zone. The Golden Bears do. Here comes Robbie Parcell. Parcell from center ice. Garsha, score! Went right through his legs. And that shot came from center ice. And it's 2-0 Canton.
Yeah, the first one was a 55-footer, Jerry, and this one I'd say about a 65, 70-footer. And again, Brian saw it, but right between the 5-hole, and he's a little uptight right now. He's skating to the corner, and his teammates are there trying to give him some encouragement, but 2 long drives, and the Golden Bears are up 2-0. Massena's, we haven't seen them behind by 2 goals yet this year, especially in that first period. They've outscored the opposition 26-6 prior to today's game in that first period.
2-0 Canton leads on the Corky's Collision scoreboard. Parcell will get the goal from center ice. Green picking up one assist and Wallace the other. Here's Chilton, headman. He's got Reed busting in with Bergeron. Reed shot, score! Matt Reed! And he faked. He used Bergeron as a screen, as a decoy, and he beat Appleknapp, and Massena gets one back. It's 2-1.
The young freshman, Matt Reed, just a grievous mistake by the Canton Golden Bears at their own blue line. They had both defensemen. Coakley was one, and his partner, Brian Wallace, were both on within 5 feet of each other right in front of the Canton bench. And don't ask me how that happened, but Matt Reed just poked the puck by both of them, and it was a 2-on-0. 2 Raiders walking in from the blue line, and he went to his backhand and tucked it right between the legs of Chris Appleknapp.
So we've already seen 3 goals. We haven't even played 5 minutes yet. Off the faceoff, puck in the Massena zone. Frank Joy gets tied up, but Chilton's there to help out, pick up the puck and start it out. Here's Jason Chilton busting out to center ice. He gets by the Canton D. Here's Chilton taking it in on the left side, gets a shot off the save. The rebound bounces around in the slot. Bergeron had a whack on it, but he couldn't come up with it. The net got knocked off as Chilton went into the net. So we'll have a face-off inside Canton territory. 2-1 the score. Canton leading by a singleton on the Corky's Collision scoreboard.
John Appleknapp's got to do a little better job clearing those rebounds. Looks a little lackadaisical. He leaves them on his doorstep. The Canton goal, a 3:01 mark, Parcells from Green and Wallace, and then a big one for the Raiders coming right back at 3:13. Matt Reed, his 4th of the year, and Captain Jason Chilton on the assist.
Off the faceoff, puck whipped around the boards by Dan Jacobs on defense. Reed to the point. Aldis, the drive, goes in behind the net. Here's Sebastian, centering pass right in front. Reed, it goes behind him. DeRocher trying to keep it in, he can't. Comes back out to center ice. Aldis dumps it back in, delay offsides. Massena clears. Thad Green coming up with it behind his net for Canton. Green flips it around the boards for Jeff Gilson. Gilson has Reed poking it away. He upends Reed. There's going to be a penalty on Canton, and Massena will go on the power play with 10:58 left in the first period. And it's been a wild and woolly first period, that's for sure.
The fans have got their money's worth right here in the first 5 minutes of this game. 10:58 left to play in the first period. As you mentioned, we've had 3 goals, and the Raiders going on a power play, and they'll send out the Trevor Cameron line with Chris Aldis and Derek DeRocher on the points.
Face-off will be in the Canton zone to the right side of goaltender John Appleknapp. Interference, the call. Could have been tripping.
To brother Chris.
That's right. Off the face-off, controlled by Massena. Around the boards it goes. And in the corner, Raiders try to control. Cameron has it poked away, goes back to Aldis at the point. It's knocked off his stick. Aldis has to retreat to center ice. He circles at his own blue line and starts it ahead for Trevor Cameron. He takes it right down the middle. Here's Cameron to LeBombard busting in. He overskated. Puck goes in the corner. Cameron after it there. Goes to LeBombard. LeBombard in the corner, circling right side. Takes it top of the circle now. Looks. Goes in behind for Cameron to hit the side of the net. And it's cleared around the boards. Tayo stops it and then leaves it for Aldis. Here's Aldis to Tayo with the 45. Mark steps into the circle and overskated again. Comes back to Aldis at the point. Cranks it up. High over the net. Puck in the corner. Had that been on, that might have gone in because Appleknapp didn't even see it. Here's LeBombard. In the corner now, circling. Drops it for Trevor Cameron. Cameron back up. LeBombard, it bounces away. Comes to Tayo, high slot. He cranks one in the corner. Puck cleared around the boards. Back to the point, DeRocher. DeRocher trying to clear the zone. It doesn't get out of the zone. Here's a shot by Aldis. Whips into the corner. And finally, the Golden Bears dump it down the ice. Chris Aldis coming back with 16 seconds left in the power play. Here comes Aldis busting in the zone, trying to slip it through to Cameron. Back to Aldis. His shot, and he fired it high over the net and up into the wall. And nice little touch pass there by Trevor Cameron right back to Aldis, and he got a good chance.
And a very poor line change by the Bears on that one, Jerry. They were down a man already, and the puck was in the neutral zone. The Raiders went from transition very quickly and caught Canton on a line change, and it was a 4-on-2 break, and Chris Aldis made a great move against the Canton defenseman.
Off the faceoff, puck comes back to the Massena line. Here's Kenny Smith with it. Smith, long headman of Spanberg, whistle. Uh-oh. Apparently the man in the box had something to say, and there's going to be something called.
Mike St. Louis was really giving a little lesson in number 31. That's Jeff Gilson that's sitting in the box. I don't know if he's telling him that he's got to sit down and.
What happened was I think the clock did not start and he was having a fit. And Mike came over and told him to sit down and be quiet. It's not his problem.
We had some problems with the clock last night in that Massena game.
Anyway, the faceoff will be at center ice. Off the draw, the bouncing puck sits in the circle. Going after Gladding, he got tied up, but it goes to Terry. Here's Terry just dumping into the zone. The penalty is up, and we're back to 5-on-5. In behind the net, cleared around the boards by Danny Jacobs. Spanberg steps into it. Smith gets the puck. His shot knocked down in front. It hit Gladding in the glove. The Golden Bears dump it down the ice. That'll be an icing call if it crosses the line. No, they wave the icing off. I'm not sure why. Puck goes in the corner. Parcell picks it up, looks to center. It comes to Spanberg. Spanberg now trying to poke it out of the zone, knocked off his stick, bounces through. Finally, it comes to Gladding, out to Spanberg. Here comes Josh with it. Josh trying to bust by the defense of Jacobs. He gets knocked down. The puck comes back out to center ice. Golden Bears, Parcells, poke checked away from him. Following it is Jacobs, Bullock in the corner. Bullock taken out of the play by Joy. The puck comes to Smith. He can't clear. It's dumped into the corner by the Golden Bears. Frankie Joy with it, still doesn't clear. Bullock keeps it in. It bounces in the circle, and it comes to Brian Terry from Massena. Terry's headman out to center ice. Here comes Gladding. We got a 2-on-1 from Massena. Offsides. As Josh Spanberg tried to stay onside and just barely missed it. And we'll come back out and face it off outside.
Jerry, I don't know if it's by design or not, if the Canton coaching staff wants their defense to play this way, but in the first game that they played, I thought that they were awful aggressive, staying up when they shouldn't, taking a lot of chances. And here in the first half of the first period, they've been beaten on at least 4 different occasions, creating 1 a 2-on-none on the first goal for Massena, and a lot of 2-on-1s, 3-on-2 situation where they're taking a big gamble. And I see now the Canton coaching staff is talking to Tad Green and to Danny Jacobs and the rest of that Canton defenders. But
there was a penalty on Massena. The reason the whistle blew, I guess Spanberg did manage to stay on side, but it was a high sticking call, I believe. Anyway, Canton will go on the power play now. We're down to 8:25 left in the first period on the Corky's Collision scoreboard. Canton 2, Massena 1. Off the face-off, puck back in the Massena zone. DeRocher cranking back after it, picks it up and winds it down the ice. It's going to bounce right in, and Applenapp will stop it there and leave it for Thad Green. Green out there along with Brian Coakley. We've got John Fay up front. We'll pick up the rest of them. Ed Fay. And probably Parcell. No, it's not going to be Parcell. It's going to be Chris Applenapp. Off the puck in the Massena zone. A little bit of a problem there for Coakley. Now he finally moves it out to center ice. Across the blue line. Here's Fay. His shot is knocked away by LeBombard, who got a stick on it. Aldis picks up the loose puck and fires it down the ice. 50 seconds left in the Canton power play. Here comes Thad Green for Canton. Massena makes some changes. It's stolen away by Cameron after a good play by Mark Tyo. Back in the Canton zone. Green again. He flips it out to center ice to Bushaw. Bushaw goes to Parcell now. Parcell winds up his shot, and the save made by Garcia, but not by much. Here's another shot. It's fired wide by the Golden Bears. Comes around the puck boards, kept in by Bullock. Back to the point. Here's a shot they deflected high over the net, and the puck goes into the corner. Canton controls it. Back to the point they go. Here's the shot, comes down in front, they bounce it in the net. And Canton goes up 3-1 on the power play. I think Parcells, or is that Bullock, is going to get credit for it in front.
And right between the legs, Jerry. That's the second one in a row that's gone right into the 5-hole. Young Brian Garcia is having a rough first period, but the Bears, who've been very successful on the power play this year, 33% percentage coming into the game. Once they gained that zone and had put excellent pressure on Massena, that time Canton player left uncontested out in front, and he put a backhander from about 15 feet right at Brian Garcia, right between the legs, low along the ice.
Parcell gets the goal.
Just prior to that, they had a nice play, number 5. We'll pick it up later.
Here comes Bergeron busting by the D. Bergeron, sharp angle. Nice save. Rebound, Reed. He takes it in the corner. Stick handles, has it poke checked away by Brian Wallace, trying to move it back to the point, but it's knocked out to center ice. Frank Joy has to turn back. He drops it to Kenny Smith. Bergeron feeds Chilton, busting through. Chilton gets the shot on the rebound. Reed shot. He fired it just wide. Bergeron looks to center, goes to Chilton in behind the net. Chilton flips it in the corner for Bergeron. Bergeron centering pass across the goal mouth. Fay knocks it down, doesn't clear the zone. Kenny Smith keeps it in. Here's Smith feeding it through to Chilton. Chilton has it knocked away. Back to the point, Smith again. Flips it to Bergeron. Bergeron centers. Chilton turns it around and fired it wide. Here's Matt Reed with it. Reed. Stick handles back by the point. Flips it through to Chilton, but it's knocked away from him. Back out to center ice and then dumped down the ice by the Bears. That'll be an icing call. So far, that Chilton, Reed, and Bergeron line has looked excellent for Massena.
That's the matchup, and they're against that Crow, Fay, and Geddes line. And that time, Matt Reed just ate Carew Geddes alive on that left side. He couldn't stay with him. He tried to be. Geddes was back checking, took Matt Reed right down to the crease, but he couldn't handle him. Matt was able to get the shot off, and that's just a mismatch so far.
Face-off right side in the Canton zone. 3-1, Golden Bears lead it. We're in the first period. Off the face-off, LeBombard shot. Save made by Appleknap. Puck in the corner, LeBombard. He can't catch up with it. Goes back to the blue line out to center ice. Here comes Chris Appleknap into the Massena zone. Drops it off, the shot, and the save made off Jeff Gilson. Puck comes in the corner, Massena end. Here is Tile with it. He loses it, goes back high point. They bang at it in the circle. And again, Gilson has it taken off his stick by LeBombard. Here's Tile moving it out. Stick handles across the blue line. Out to center ice goes to Cameron. Cameron has it knocked away by Danny Jacobs. He flips it ahead. Here's John Fay. Makes a good move across the blue line. Gets the shot off. It's knocked down in front. Here's a backhander by Gilson in behind the net. Fay tries the center, but it's cleared to the blue line. Kept in by Coakley. He shoots one. Doesn't get through. In the corner, it's Chris Appleknap. Appleknap bangs it. Coakley shot high over the net. Whips around the boards. Back to the blue line. Wallace trying to keep it in and does, but it comes to Aldis. Long headman to Spanberg. Here comes Josh, busting in. There's Josh trying to make the move. Coakley got a stick on it. Josh follows up behind the net. Centering pass, knocked away. Comes back to the blue line. Aldis cranks it up into the stands as he tried to keep it in the zone, and the faceoff will come out by the blue line. 5:05 left, period number 1. 3-1 Canton on the Corky's Collision scoreboard.
Saw something we haven't seen too many times, if at all, this year, Jerry. The Raiders, under duress, they tried to ice the puck. They weren't looking for a breakout. Had all 5 guys down below the circle. They just wanted to get it out of there. That tells you what kind of pressure Canton had on them.
Off the faceoff, puck inside, outside, offsides, but they clear the zone. Bouncing away. Here's Terry with it. Kenny Smith, he headmans it, intercepted by Coakley. He drops to an open wing, goes back in the Massena zone, and Frank Joy is there. He rips it around the boards. Spanberg moves it ahead to Terry. Here's Terry over skates, but Spanberg follows. Here comes Josh across the blue line. Has it poke checked away. Doesn't get out of the zone, though. Gladding over skates it, and back comes Parcells. Pass behind him. Spanberg flipping it ahead. Goes back in the Canton zone. Racing back after it is Brian Wallace. Gladding takes him out of the play, takes the puck, looks to center, it hits a leg. Centers it again to Spanberg, but it goes back to the point. Joy shot. He fired it wide. Comes around to the other point. Kenny Smith keeps it in for Gladding. Gladding to Spanberg in front all by himself. Shot, score! Josh Spanberg all by himself in the slot on a beautiful pass from Gladding, and it's 3-2 Canton.
Derek Gladding, great pass to Josh Spanberg, who was parked out in the slot, and Josh didn't make any mistake. John Appleknap sat back in the crease, sat right back on his, right out of the goal line, and Josh Spanberg looked him right in the eye and saw that top corner up in the left-hand side, and he just wristed one right up in there. Great pass. I'm sure Kenny Smith is going to get an assist by keeping it in the zone. But that line that was just put together for yesterday's game picked up 6 points in last night's game, and they're right off to a good start again tonight.
3-2, Canton leads as Massena back to within 1. Are we going to have a 9-8 game here, Dave?
I'll tell you, I love it so far.
Off the face-off. Here's Jason Chilton. Chilton ahead to Bergeron. Here comes Sebi across the blue line. His drive and the save made by John Appleknapp. Oh, Chilton throws a big check in the corner against Danny Jacobs. The puck squirts free. Thad Green will pick it up. Drops it back. It's going to go to Bergeron in the corner left side. Sebastian from Massena centering pass. Chilton deflects it wide, and Green just leveled him. Now the puck in front. Chilton, he hit the goalpost on the backhand. I don't think he expected to get it. Now Mike Abinet's out there, keeps it in the zone momentarily, and finally Fay is going to clear it out to center ice. Kicks free. It goes to Chilton. Chilton at the red line, turns it around again. Steps by the check, across the blue line, throws a check. The puck comes bouncing free, and the Golden Bears pick it up. Here's a shot from center ice. Garcia makes the save, and it's picked up by Aldis, and he looked a little shaky, you're right. Here's Bergeron as Massena makes a change. Headman to Cameron, and he just lost his footing, and the puck goes in the zone, Canton zone. Coakley flips it around the boards for Wallace. Wallace trying to get it ahead to center ice. Here comes Jeff Gilson down the right wing side for the Golden Bears. Gilson drop pass, intercepted. Here's Massena back the other way. Trevor Cameron to LeBombard. Brian busted on the right side. LeBombard shot is blocked. Nice play there by defenseman Brian Wallace. Back to an Abbott. He cranks it up. The save is made. And we have a whistle. We're going to have an interference call on Trevor Cameron.
I'll tell you, number 17 for the Raiders, Brian LeBombard, just does a lot of little things that are really impressive. He started that play away with a little touch pass to Trevor Cameron at his own blue line. Then he turned on the Jets, went up, and he was a recipient of a great pass back from Cameron, and the Canton goaltender had to make a good save on him. But at LeBombard, Brian LeBombard does a lot of little things that are really impressive.
Massena will be killing the penalty as Cameron picked up the interference call, and it's going to be Tayo out there along with LeBombard. We've got Smith along with Frankie Joy. Puck in the Canton zone. They've got Parcells out there. And, Tayo almost steals the puck, but Parcell keeps it. Flips it ahead to Bullock. Danny Bullock now in the Massena zone on the off wing. Here's Bullock right down the middle. His shot is wide. It's blocked off a leg. Puck comes to Bullock. He hits the side of the net with it. May have been a save. Doesn't get out of the zone. Thad Green cranks it up. Knocked down in the slot. Bounces right in front. Nice save. Rebound. Smith gets a piece of it, and it bounces high in the air into the corner. Bullock looks to center. Tayo ties him up. It comes over on the other side to Bushaw. Back to the point. Wallace to Green. His shot through traffic is wide. Bouncing in the slot back to the point. Here's the shot. Knocked down, deflected right in the net. And in front of the net, Canton, I can't pick up who that is. I think it's going to be Bullock. Or is it
it's either Bushaw, one of the two. Again, the third goal, Jerry, that one got right between the legs of young Brian Garcia, and boy, Brian can't wait to get out of this first period. He's a good young goaltender, and he's having a little shaky first period, and Canton's they realize that, and every chance they get, they're cranking it up, and they've got some good shooters on this club. All the shots seem to be low, right along the ice, and they're jumping that guy in front to deflect it, but they put that one, it was a backhand again, right between the legs.
It was Bullock who got the goal.
Bullock got the goal, okay.
So it's 4-2 now. Canton, another power play goal, their second in the game. We're in the first period. Off the faceoff, puck back in the Massena zone. Bushaw and Smith in the corner. The bouncing puck comes free. Terry moves it ahead. Gladding to Spanberg. Here comes Josh in the zone. Centering pass meant for Terry goes into the corner. Thad Green after it. Now Bullock. Bullock and Gladding spar for it. The puck comes free, bounces on the glass back to the point. Kept in by Frankie Joy. He steps by a sprawling defenseman. His shot right on. Save made, and a good one by John Appleknapp.
John Appleknapp that was a good save, good glove save, and John has not been strong in this first period. He's kind of sitting back in his crease, not coming out and challenging, and he doesn't look confident right now. Both goaltenders can't wait for this intermission to gain some of that confidence back.
Canton leads 4-2, and we still have 1:39 left in the first period.
A lot of excitement packed in here in this first 12 minutes.
Face off right side. Off the draw, bouncing puck to the blue line. Terry throws a check, but it still gets back out to center ice. Here comes Kenny Smith with it, circling. Has it knocked away. It bounces out to center ice, so Gladding picks it up. Flips it ahead for Spanberg. Josh takes a whack at it, comes in the zone. He and Coakley go after it. Coakley gets there first, flips it ahead to Johnny Fay. He just dumps it in the Massena zone. In behind the net, Mike Ganabinet with it. Rounds the boards with it. Racing in after it is Andy Crow. Puck sits in the slot, but it's bounced away by Kenny Smith. It runs out to center ice. Here comes Spanberg picking up the loose puck. In on the right side. Gets by one. Gets by two. Here's Spanberg's shot right across the goal mouth. Bounces to an Abbott. He drives one right on. Rebound. Hit the goal post. And B.J. Terry had a great opportunity. Hit the goal post. Canton breaks it out the other way. Here come the Golden Bears. We have a whistle. And we're going to have matching minors, I think. No, wait a minute.
Chris Applenap is going to go to the gate. He did a job. I think you're right. We might have matching minors. I think number 18, Derek Gladding, is also going to pick up a penalty on the play. At least he's skating towards the. He has that sheepish look about him, or that sheep. Well, no, he's skating towards the bench now. Maybe it's just one.
Apparently, holding the call, and that happened way behind the play.
Again, one of those penalties coaches hate to see. The play had gone the other way. Your team's got the puck, and Chris Applenap and Derek Gladding were hooked up down in front of the Canton goaltender, and they're going to call Applenap for holding. Raiders need one here.
Off the face-off, it comes to Chris Aldis. Chili's line out there from Massena. Aldis stick handles across and dumps it in the Canton zone. It whips into the corner. Green after it, trying to clear. Comes back to Kenny Smith. He keeps it in. Flipped to the side of the net now. Chili after it goes to Matt Reed. We're down to 30 seconds. Reed goes back to the point. Aldis skates it right toward the middle. Then goes over to Kenny Smith. Smith slides it through. It comes in front. Reed, he can't get the shot off. He was too well tied up by Danny Jacobs. Here's Chili picking it up. Back to the point it goes. Here's Aldis with it. He takes it out by the middle. Fakes the shot. Goes to Kenny Smith. Smith, sharp angle. Bangs it around behind the net. Goes to Chilton. Chilton with 6 seconds left. Winds it up his shot. Oh, he just kept it out of the net somehow. It goes in behind with 1 second. And the buzzer sounds. And Massena came so close. Canton will go to the locker room with a 4-2 lead.
Oh, boy is right. Jason Chilton had John Applenap beaten on the short side from a tough angle, right from the dot, and it got Applenap just put the glove out. He might have got a piece of it, but it hit the post and redirected back out the other side, Jerry. The Raiders came within a whisker of being within one, but what an exciting first period. A lot of mistakes. The defense gambling, making mistakes. Both goaltenders a little shaky, but I'll tell you, it's got this crowd right on the edge of their seats. 6 goals in that first period, and a lot of near misses by both sides.
A wild and woolly first period, and after one, the Canton Golden Bears lead the Massena Red Raiders on a score of 4-2. Our broadcast this afternoon on WMSA brought to you by the North Country Savings Bank, 22 Phillips Street, Massena, by the members of the Seacom Federal Credit Union, 30 Stern Street. Also by Tiffany's Restaurant, 46 Main Street, downtown Massena. By the Village Engraver, 80 Parker Avenue in Massena. By Netto's, 43 Andrews Street. By Bogosian's Carpet and Furniture and BC Cleaning, 70 Willow Street. Reynolds Metals, St. Lawrence Reduction Plant, working together. Their quality shines through. By Massena Optics, 55 Main Street, downtown Massena. By Paris Environmental Control Corporation,
which is the west end, and John Applenap is a big one. Big tall goaltender will be to our left at the east end.
That's one of the...
You got to get a goaltender that's a little more active than that.
Massena will be on the power play to start this period for 43 seconds. The Chili line out there. Off the face-off, it comes to Aldis. Aldis to DeRocher. Head man goes to Reed. Reed just flips it. It's going to go right on, and Applenap will have to make the stop. And hold on, Applenap will have to make... Ooh. He holds on for the face-off anyway. You got to watch that, huh?
Oh, boy, that's a tongue twister.
Really? Face-off will be to the right side in the Canton zone. 35 seconds. Yeah. Off the draw, it comes right to Bergeron. He drops it to the point. DeRocher, cross to Aldis. Aldis stick handles back to DeRocher. DeRocher looks for Chilton in the circle. He's there. Drops it in behind. Gets it back again. Has it knocked away. Picks it up. His shot. Scores! Jason Chilton right in the 5-hole, and it's 4-3 as Canton again back to a 1-goal lead.
Did not take long, 22 seconds, and that's the fourth one of those we've seen this afternoon. Right between the 5-hole is right. The Bears had a chance to clear it, failed, and Jason Chilton picked it up right out in front, I'd say about 30 feet out, and he threw one right along the ice, and it went right between the legs of John Applenap, and Raiders back within one.
4-3 Canton. On the Peach Jewelers scoreboard, off the draw, here comes Cameron, knocked off the puck by Bullock. Bouncing puck at the red line. It comes into the goal, the Massena zone, 2-on-1 shot, fired wide by Mike Bushaw, and it bounces all the way down the ice in the Canton zone. Stopped in behind by Appleknap. Tile racing for it, trying to center it, but Cameron followed up. It comes back to the blue line. Frankie Joy trying to center it. It goes to Cameron, backhander knocked through, bounces to the blue line. Kenny Smith keeps it in. His pass intercepted. Here come the Golden Bears. They almost had a 2-on-1, but Frank Joy gets back, picks up the puck as the pass didn't go where they wanted it. It comes to Tile. Tile's head man hit Cameron in the back of the skate. Canton right back in. Here comes Mike Bushaw, centering pass, and Parcell couldn't catch up with it. Goes back to the point. They move it along the boards, but Mark Tile picks it up, trying to head it to Cameron. Here comes Trevor. Has it overskated and back in the zone to lay offsides on Massena as the Raiders are going to make a line change. Parcell picks up the puck. Here's Parcell in his own end. Running into some forechecking, B.J. Terry. Terry centering right across the goal mouth. He had Gladding on the doorstep, but it goes wide. Here's Bullock back the other way into the Massena zone. Joy takes him out of the play. They both go down. Kenny Smith picks up the puck, then overskates. Canton wants a line change too. Ice looks a little slow down in that corner. We're going to have an interference call against Massena. Frank Joy.
No question, Frankie upset the Canton player. I think it was number 31, Jeff Gilson, as he cruised across in front of the crease. And the Bears have already scored 2 power play goals. They're back on the power play again, and they'll probably send that big line out there. That last goal, the Massena goal, Jason Chilton, his 9th of the year. Matt Reed and Derek DeRocher picking up assists on that.
Chilton will be out there to try to kill it off, along with Spanberg. Off the face-off, puck back to the blue line. Coakley to Green. Green back to Coakley. They move it into the middle. Back to the point it goes. That was Fay with it. Gets it back again. Right side for Canton. Back to Coakley at the point. Coakley to Fay. Fay has it poke checked away. It comes to DeRocher. He cranks it back to the blue line. Kept in by Coakley. Coakley flipping to Fay. Fay looks to pass it in behind. Goes back to Coakley at the point. He keeps it in nicely. Here's Coakley going in the corner for Chris Appleknap. Appleknap has it taken away. Aldis flips it in behind. After it there is Eddie Fay for Canton in the corner. Fay has it knocked away by Chilton. Gets it back again. Goes back to Green at the point. He winds it up. The shot hit the side of the net. In the corner, Green winds at it. It bounces through the middle, and finally it's flipped out to center ice. Here comes Spanberg. Spanberg picks up the loose puck, turns it, and he fanned on the shot. He tried to get it upstairs, and he just fanned on it for a second. Had a good opportunity there, shorthanded. 30 seconds left in the power play. Golden Bears with a puck in their own end. It's Thad Green. Ice looks a little slow this period. I think it's a little warmer in here than usual, and that's the reason. Here come the Golden Bears into the Massena zone. DeRocher picks up the puck, though, and he flipped it, and it goes up into the Canton bench. So the faceoff will come in the Massena zone.
I'll tell you, Brian Coakley's probably got another twist in his belly button because Josh Spanberg turned him inside out on that last play, and as he was trying to crank it up, he fanned on the shot, but just an excellent move by Josh Spanberg.
Now we've got Cameron out there along with Brian LeBombard, and the Parcell line comes out for the Golden Bears. Off the draw, out to center ice it comes. Good job by LeBombard. Dumped right back in the zone. Stopped by Ramsdell in behind the net. Ripped around the boards by Micah Nabonet. Stopped at the point by Brian Wallace. He flips it in. Back to Wallace at the point. In the corner. Micah Nabonet comes up with it for a second. Now comes to Smith. To Cameron. Back to the point. Here's a drive. And the puck bounces in the corner. Massena's got a man back, but they don't clear the zone. Now they do as Cameron breaks down ice. Here comes Cameron. Head man to LeBombard. Busting on the right side. He's got Tayo, and it's a little bit too far in front of him. He couldn't get the shot out, but he picks up the loose puck. Centers it. Backhand pass. Bounces in the net, and Massena has tied it. I think Tayo will get credit for the goal. It went up over the shoulder of Appleknap and dropped behind him, and we're tied at 4.
Again, we mentioned John Appleknap, not too active in there. He's a big one, but he got down on his knees that time. And you mentioned Mark Tayo just flipped it and went up his arm up in the air, probably 4 or 5 feet above Appleknap, and he was down. He couldn't do anything, and he just looked back, and it's tumbling slowly in behind him and in the far side, and the Raiders have tied it up. And what an excellent job Massena did killing that last penalty.
Here comes Massena's Tayo busting right down the middle. Makes a good move, Cameron. He runs into Tayo, and the puck bounces free. And here come the Golden Bears with a 3-on-2 back the other way. Into the zone. Here's the drive blocked by Kenny Smith. Puck bounces in the corner, and I think it rolled up off the glass and into the stands. And we'll have a face-off. That was Brian Wallace rushing down the left side.
You're right, Jerry. Mark Tayo is going to get credit for that goal, his 7th of the year. Brian LeBombard and Trevor Cameron picking up assists. That line had a big night last night. They had 6 points, and they've got several here this afternoon. But again, John Appleknap not being very active out there. Once he got down, he couldn't get back up.
Off the face-off in the Massena zone. Here's DeRocher. His pass intercepted. Here's Appleknap. Drop one. Nice. Here's a backhander knocked down in front by DeRocher. He flips it along the boards and moves it out to center ice. Derek DeRocher just headmans it into the Canton zone, picked up by Brian Coakley. Coakley in his own end. Bounces it in behind. They move it around the horn. It comes to Johnny Fay, and Fay moves it. His pass knocked down. It comes free, and it's dumped from center ice, and the save made by Ramsdell, who's in the nets for Massena. Puck in the corner now, picked up by Chilton. Chilton skates in behind his own net, looks for Reed at the wing. Matt picks up the loose puck. Headman pass goes off Bergeron's stick to the Canton blue line. Bergeron gets knocked down, comes to the Massena line. Dumped from center ice again, and Ramsdell leaves it in the corner for Chris Aldis. Aldis going to Reed on the wing. Matt starts it out again. Here's Reed busting down the left wing side, gets by the D, but the puck eludes him. And Canton is going to dump it down the ice again. That'll be an icing call against the Bears and move the faceoff back inside Canton territory.
I'll tell you, it didn't take Massena long. Down by 2 in this, going into this second period within 3 minutes and 36 seconds. They've tied it up, and we've got a lot more action to go with.
Wild and Woolley. B.J. Terry's line comes out now from Massena. Face-off in the Canton zone. It's going to be Ed Fay with Carew Geddes and Andy Crow. Face-off left side, off the draw. Puck cleared, kept in by Kenny Smith. He cranks it in the corner. Rips in behind the net. Danny Jacobs after it there to Green. Back to Jacobs, goes by him. Spanberg trying to come up with it. Jacobs is there, and he looks up ice. He's going to flip it over to Green as he picks up a forechecker. Up along the boards, Frank Joy's shot is wide. Puck whistles around to the other point. Kenny Smith into Spanberg. Josh, he's ripped off the puck. It's out. No, it's not out. Kept in by Smith. His shot knocked down. It's still in the zone. Finally, it's out to center ice. Eddie Fay with it. Smith knocks him off the puck. And finally, it's poke-checked in the Massena zone. Frank Joy back after it. Makes the turn. Starts out right side. Joy. Headman right on the stick of Terry. We got a 2-on-1. Terry and Gladding. Here's BJ. Stops. The Gladding in front. He directs it right on. The save made. And the rebound back to the point. Joy keeps it in. Flips it around the board. Spanberg steps behind. Trying to center it. Goes back to Smith. He cranks one up. Fired it wide. It whips around to Frankie Joy at the other point. He fires it, knocked down by the defense. Out to center ice. Joy gets a stick on it and saves it from going back the other way. Here's Gladding. Gladding to Spanberg. Josh takes it across on the right side. Trying to go by Green. He does. Centers it right into front. Save made the rebound. Terry scores! And Massena goes up 5-4.
I think they're going to call it off, Jerry. I think he's going to call either a man in the crease or off its moorings. I think Butch Martin is waving that one off. Yeah, and he's coming right to the dot to the right of John Appleknap. But just sustained pressure out there by that new combination of Brian Terry, Josh Spanberg, and Derek Gladding. And they were just buzzing around that Canton net.
Trevor Cameron's line out. It comes to LeBombard, back to the point. DeRocher flips it in the corner. Mark Tile lets it go by. Picked up there by LeBombard, left corner. Here's LeBombard, back to the point, Aldis. He winds it up. His shot is wide, bounces in front. After it is Tayo. Here's Mark Tayo with it. Feeds it in for LeBombard. LeBombard centering past to Tayo. It goes through his legs and back out to center ice. Good idea, just didn't click. Here's Aldis now. Flipping to DeRocher. DeRocher's headman on the stick of Tayo. Tayo flips to Cameron, trying to bust the D. It bounces off a stick and is picked up by Mike Bushaw. Here's Bushaw. Trying to drop it in the zone. Moves it to the Massena line. Goes by everybody. They wave the icing off. Ramsdell tries to stop it. Can't, but he pokes it into the corner. Makes a good play as he had Parcell coming after it. Here's LeBombard. Head man on the stick of Aldis. Aldis busting down a 3-on-2 from Massena. Aldis drops it for Tayo. He takes it down the middle. He's knocked off the puck. It's out to center ice. And they're not going to have a breakaway as it goes too far. And Ramsdell flips it ahead and out to center ice. Massena almost got caught up ice that time. Here's Tayo with it in his own end. Steps by the check. Moves it out to center ice. Head man to Cameron. Cameron gets knocked down, but following up is LeBombard. Busting in across to Tayo. He's knocked down. The puck comes free. Aldis back out to center ice, flipped back in by Joy, and it's an intentional offsides on Massena. And that'll go back in the Massena zone.
I'll tell you, the old saying, live by the sword, die by the sword. I have never seen a high school club, and last year they did the same thing, so evidently they're instructed this way. Canton's defense, regardless if it's a 3-on-2, a 2-on-1, whatever, they try to play the body on every situation, knock the man down, and let the puck go free. They're really going to get burnt on it.
Off the face-off, the shot, knocked down in the circle, bounces, and Ramsdale, no, it scored! Ramsdale made the save, but it bounced out, I think, to Chris Appleknap. And now it's 5-4 Canton.
Harmless little shot, and you mentioned it is Chris Appleknap that's going to get the goal. Mike Ramsdale was flipped in, that he made the save. He was down, dropped to his knees, reached for the rebound with his glove and couldn't corral it. And those rebounds will come back to haunt you, and it went right out to number 12, Chris Appleknap. And when he looked and he saw that Ramsdale was on his knees, he flipped it high upstairs, and the Bears up 5-4.
5-4 the score for Canton. In the zone it comes, and it's bounced back out to the blue line. Chilton keeps it in, though. Here's Chili with it, trying to flip it in the corner. It comes to Dan Jacobs. He rips it around the boards. Frankie Joy keeps it in at the left point, dumps it in the corner again. Here's Bergeron with it. Looks to center, but it goes in behind. Matt Reed after it. Reed looks to Chilton. His shot. Nice save that time by Appleknap on a quick release shot by Jason Chilton. Puck along the boards, and the Golden Bears move it out to center ice. Chilton has it poked away, but it comes to Frankie Joy. Joy bounces it ahead to Matt Reed. Reed has Green knock him down, but Chilton picks up the loose puck. Flips it for Bergeron. Jumped over his stick. Cleared to the point. Kenny Smith keeps it in. Now it's Green again, moving it out to center ice. Smith with it. Flips it up along the boards. Dumped from center ice into the Massena zone. Frank Joy after it as Kent makes a line change. Headman to Matt Reed. Reed from the red line. Backhands it ahead. Meant for Chilton. Comes in the Canton zone, and Coakley picks it up for Canton. Headman pass. Knocked down by Kenny Smith. Smith, nice stick handling move. He takes it in the zone. Gets by one, by two, but then he's knocked off the puck, and it slides to Coakley. Coakley flipping it around behind for Brian Wallace. Wallace trying to headman. Goes off a leg to Bergeron. Bergeron centering pass in front. It comes to Gladding, he bounces it just wide. Bergeron rebound, fired just wide. Another shot saved by Appleknap, poked in the net. Nope, they waved that one off.
That's two in a row they've waved off, and this one is not because the net's off this morning. They lost sight of the puck, but there was just a flurry of activity around there, and I don't think Appleknap had it covered. You and I could see it, but the officials, the one behind the net, I'm not sure if that was Butch Martin or not. He lost sight of it and blew the whistle. And just at that time, the Raiders picked up that rebound and tucked it over again, a sprawling Appleknap.
He did make one great save before that, though.
Kenny Smith, we'll say it many times for this. I'm just amazed by his quickness.
Off the faceoff, here's Aldis' shot, goes in behind the net. Controlled by Coakley, bangs it to the glass, kept in the zone by DeRocher. Comes whipping in behind the net. Wallace after it there. For Coakley, has it knocked away by Gladding. Now it's Terry in behind. Coakley takes it from him, trying to flip it over on the other side. Fay doesn't get it out of there. Spanberg got a stick on it. Now the bouncing puck to the point. DeRocher keeps it in. And where is it? It's up into the stands, I believe. It was knocked out by Ed Fay. And the faceoff will come inside the Canton zone. 5:23 left in the second period in a wild and woolly high school hockey game. The Canton Golden Bears are leading it on a score of 5-4 on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard.
And that fifth goal coming at the 6:37 mark. Chris Appleknap with assists going to Jeff Gilson and Johnny Fay.
Terry's line out there against the Ed Fay line. Off the face, it comes to center ice. Aldis waits for his wings and dumps it in behind the net. Thad Green after it there. Here's Green ripping it around the boards. Gladding steps in front, has it knocked away. Golden Bears try to move it, and it's kept in by Terry momentarily, but then it's out to center ice. Here's Sherm Grant, first time we've seen him, trying to drop it to Fay, but it goes in behind the net, and it's going to be Josh Spanberg flipping ahead to Terry. Back to Spanberg. Here comes Spanberg, busting into the zone. Drop pass meant for Terry, a little bit behind him, and is cleared down the ice again, just trickles into the Massena zone. Back after it is Chris Aldis. Aldis looks up ice, and then he's going to lug it himself. Now he headmans. It's deflected in the zone by Gladding. Comes whipping in behind the net. After it there is Danny Jacobs in the corner. Terry takes him into the boards. The puck bounces underneath Terry. They go after it. It comes out, kept in at the point by Aldis. Aldis flips it in the corner, bounces in behind. Cleared around the boards by Jacobs, and it crawls right up into the bleachers. And the faceoff will come in the Canton zone. 4:23 left second period. Canton up by 1, 5-4 in the Peach Jewelers scoreboard.
And on that shift, we talked about the Canton defense putting a dime around them. Well, you could have put a quarter around the Massena pairings, Derek DeRocher and Chris Aldis that time. They were both dangerously close to each other on that blue line.
Trevor Cameron's line back out now against the Chris Applenap line. Face off to the left in the Canton zone. Off the draw. Bouncing puck in the circle. Controlled by the Golden Bears. Applenap. Headman pass on the wing to Gilson. Here comes Gilson. Turning around. Gets a shot off. It's high. And it caught the shoulder of Massena goaltender Ramsdell. I don't think it was on the net. But Mike got it with the shoulder and goes up into the wall.
Well, it was pretty close, Jerry. And a good shot by Jeff Gilson. He put the brakes on. Came back and got a quick wrist shot. And it might have, not sure, had that top corner, but Mike Ramsdell was able to deflect it over the top.
Off the faceoff, back to Coakley at the point. He winds it up. The save made. Where is it? In the corner. And that hit Trevor Cameron, and he's hurting right now. And we're going to have a break here for a second when Matt Hart comes out to take a look at Trevor Cameron.
Again, I think he got hit by the shot there, Jerry. Again, the importance of those face-offs, and the Bears won that clean. Just picked it, won it clean as a whistle, and it came back to the point, and the Canton defenseman, I think it was Coakley, unleashed a real bullet, and Trevor Cameron was cruising in front. I think it hit him on the inside of the left knee. Coach Matt Hart is out tending to him.
4:06 left in the second period on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard. Canton leading Massena 5-4.
One thing we can guarantee at the end of today's action, the goals against average, all the goaltenders are going to go up, and the plus-minus ratings are going to go up for both clubs.
Cameron being helped to his feet, and he walks slowly over to the bench.
And you know when he goes down and he hobbles off, he has to be hurting because he is one tough buckaroo, and it takes a lot. One, to put him down, and two to keep him down. But I know, give him a few minutes over there, and he'll be back out on that next shift.
John Paul Genest will come out to take the face-off in place of Trevor Cameron. Face-off in the Massena zone to the right side of goaltender Mike Ramsdell. Now they toss Genest out along with his opposite number, Applenap, and they'll face it off. LeBombard off the draw. Here's another shot, goes wide. Puck whips around the boards. Applenap and Tayo go after it. Here's Genest picking up the loose puck. Headman pass to LeBombard. LeBombard flips it in the zone. He gets knocked down. The puck goes in the corner. Genest throws a check. It bounces in behind, and it comes to Tayo. Here's Tayo, stick handling, has it knocked away. And the Golden Bears move it out to center ice. That's Brian Wallace. Wallace shot from center. Save made. Puck sticked into the corner by the Massena goaltender, Ramsdell. Tayo, nice headman on the stick of Genest. We got a 2-on-1. John Paul and LeBombard. He can't get it to LeBombard. Trailing is Kenny Smith. Backhander, save made.
Just a great pass by Mark Tayo to send John Paul Genest away on a 2-on-1 situation, but he wasn't able to get it over to Brian LeBombard. Got caught up in his skates, but he did stay with it. And Mark Tayo, after he made the pass, hustled back up the ice and took the return pass from John Paul Genest. But Applenap able to come up with a big save.
Chilton's line out there for the faceoff against Parcells. Off the draw, here's Chilton with it. Stick handling into the circle, slides it to the side of the net, and the save is made. Or actually, I'm not sure if it was a save, but it came right on, and Applenap will cover it up, and we'll have another faceoff.
3:14 left in the second period, and the Canton Golden Bears holding on to a 5-4 lead.
Face-off left side again in the Canton zone. Cleared around the boards by Danny Jacobs. Here's Matt Reed with it. Trying to go back to the point. Aldis cranks it up. Oh, deflected right on. Rebound, bounces in front. Reed, he fired it wide, and the net's off its moorings. And we're going to have a holding on Canton, I believe, as Bergeron was just hog-tied there, side of the net.
Hog-tied, and that would have been a good move on WWA or WrestleMania, whatever, I'll tell you. And I think it's number 7 that's going to get the gate, and that's Tad Green. It looks like he'll be called for holding, and the Raiders going to go on the power play, and Look across at Joey. How many power play goals have we had here in the first two periods?
2 and 3.
Three power play
Two
goals.
for Canton, 1 for Massena. And now Jason Chilton comes out there with his line mates. Bergeron and Reed. DeRocher and Aldis will be at the points. Parcell. Delay of the game, the call. Apparently knocking it off intentionally. He had a good hold of Bergeron, though. Anyway, here's Bergeron, stick handling in the corner. Goes to Reed in behind the net. Reed looks, takes it into the corner now. Goes that to Chilton at the 45, back to Aldis. Aldis to DeRocher. DeRocher is a flip-flop. Takes it to the blue line, then goes to Chili. Chili at the 45. He skates it, trying to get the shot off. It's blocked. It comes bouncing high in the air, comes to Bergeron. Here's Sebi with it. In behind the net now. Has it knocked away, gets it in front somehow, but Canton picks it up and clears it down the ice. And we're down to 55 seconds in the power play. 2.5 left in the period. Canton leads Massena 5-4 on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard. Here comes Chilton with it, dropping for Aldis. Aldis, the head man to DeRocher. Derek janks it in the zone. In the corner it goes. Comes back to Reed at the 45. Here's Reed, stick handling to Chilton in the corner. Jason, back to the point, Aldis. Aldis fakes the shot, spins it around, moving it along the boards, goes to Chilton. Chilton, back to Aldis. He winds it up. His shot is wide. Bounces around. DeRocher flips it in the corner, goes around behind the net to Matt Reed. Here's Reed with it. Stick handles, circles out from the corner, takes it in the slot, drops it for Chilton in the corner. Jason, left side of the goalie, takes it to the high slot, goes to DeRocher on the fly. His shot goes off a leg in the corner. Bergeron goes after it, trying to come up with it. Bounces behind the net. Now Reed and Bergeron. Reed takes the puck. Penalty is up. Here comes Chilton back to the point, but it's intercepted by Green coming out of the penalty box, and Green rushes down the ice. He gets a shot off. Bouncing puck comes in the slot. They jam at it. It's Green, backhander, knocked down by Aldis. He pokes it to the blue line and out to center ice. Here comes Spanberg right back the other way. Takes it toward the middle, trying to drop the pass off. Green intercepts, flips to the Massena line. Aldis takes it back the other way. Here's Aldis, steps by one, check by two. Cranks it up. His shot saved. The rebound bounces in front. The backhander by Terry is wide, and the puck bounces off a leg to the point, and it's out to center ice. Back the other way comes Mike Bushaw. Bushaw makes a nice move, gets a shot off, fired it wide. B.J. Terry turns it back the other way. We have a whistle. And Joy, I think, is going to pick up another penalty.
Well, I think Bushaw is going to pick one up, too. If he doesn't, Frank Joy did pound him on the backside, and the official saw that. I hope no. I guess he didn't see Mike Bushaw holding onto his leg. We'll wait and see.
I think he did see him.
Okay, because
he gave him a hold, and he gave
Mike Bushaw is in the bench. Okay, there goes the official. Said, okay, son, come on out. Mike Bushaw had Frank Joy hog-tied down there, and Frank was trying to get away, got frustrated, and gave him a couple of whacks on the backside. Well, Butch Martin saw that.
And he also saw
the hold. No question. So they're both going to be off, but 43 seconds left in this second period. 5-4 Canton.
43 seconds. Wild and woolly period, to say the least. B.J. Terry out to take the draw against Parcell. He wins it and flips it deep in the Canton zone. Applenap way out of his net. He plays it in behind. Gladding steps in front of it from Massena. Trying to backhand pass. Parcell intercepts. Back the other way comes the Golden Bears. So they try to move it in the zone. John Fay knocked away from him. Poke checked ahead by Spanberg. And Spanberg is down, getting up slowly. Now Gladding throws a check. Kenny Smith steps into it. Ahead to Spanberg, to Smith. In the corner right side, looks to center. He's taken out of the play by Parcells. In the corner, Gladding digs for it. Bounces to Terry. Terry in behind the net. He gets upended. Trying to center it on the backhand with 7 seconds left. Still in the Canton zone. It's underneath. And the whistle blows with 2 seconds left in the period. And it was underneath Thad Green, who was at the bottom of that pile.
Both teams are getting caught up in the excitement here, Jerry. They're breaking down somewhat discipline-wise, positional. They're running around a little bit, and you look up and you see 3 or 4 brown shirts in one spot, and a second later you see 3 or 4 white shirts in one spot. So you still got to, even though it's intense and the crowd is into it, you've got to continue to play your position. Don't try to play your position and your line mate's position or your defense position.
Massena gets the extra attacker out with just 2 seconds left. They pull their goaltender. Jason Chilton will take the face-off, try to get it probably Well, he's not going to, and the buzzer sounds. So Canton will go. They came into the period with a 2-goal lead. They go out of the period with a 1-goal lead, and we're going to go to the third period, a wild and woolly affair, to say the least. Again, the score after 2 periods, Canton 5 and Massena 4, a 1-goal hockey game. Our broadcast brought to you by Massena Building Supply, 70 Water Street, by Evergreen Memorials, 112 Maple Street, by Paris Environmental Control Corporation on the Winthrop Road in Massena, by Massena Optics, 55 Main Street, downtown Massena, Reynolds Metals, St. Lawrence Reduction Plant, working together, their quality shines through, by Chilton out there with Bergeron and Reed. It'll be Parcells out there with Bullock and Bouchard. And we're about ready to go here. No, wait a minute. That's going to be Ed Fay playing the wing. So a change for Canton. Off the faceoff, Aldis in his own end to DeRocher, ahead to Bergeron to Chilton. Here comes Jason with it, flips it in the Canton zone. Bounces in behind the net for Thad Green. He rounds the boards with it. Aldis keeps it in at the point. In the corner it goes again. Parcell picks it up. Rob Parcell around the boards. DeRocher trying to step in front. He does. Here's DeRocher winding up the shot, and the save made, as I think he got it up a little higher than he wanted to. Came right up chest high, and Applenap grabbed it and held on.
Derek DeRocher really cranked up a bullet, and he put it right in the chest protector of John Applenap. Either side, he might have picked up a goal. That was from a sharp angle from about, I'd say, 35 feet out, but he had a lot of mustard on it.
Off the faceoff, puck in the corner. Coakley is there for Canton. He flips it around the boards. On the wing, Bullock has it knocked away by Matt Reed. Reed backhands it into the circle. Comes to Bergeron, trying to go back to Chilton off a leg. Bergeron has it whipped away from him. Bounces to the blue line. Reed keeps it in again. Matt has it kicked away. Comes to center ice. Aldis dumps it right back in the Canton zone. In behind the net is Coakley picking it up. Coakley flipping it ahead. Comes back to the point. DeRocher can't keep it in this time. Here comes Canton's Parcell. Across the blue line, he winds it up and fired it way wide. Puck goes to Bullock. He flips it right in front, and it bounces just across the goal mouth. DeRocher. Long headman pass to Reed. Center ice has it whipped away from him by Bullock. Back in the Massena zone, but Canton has to get onside, and DeRocher picks up the puck as they make a change. Here comes DeRocher from center ice. His shot right on, and the save made. Bounces in front, but Green is there to pick it up. Here's Thad Green now trying to bust out of his own end. Bounces it to center ice, knocked down. Bergeron has it knocked away from him. It's stolen by Tayo. Here's Tayo, drop pass to Bergeron to Cameron. Cameron gets tied up. The puck bounces to center ice, and back the other way comes John Fay. Here's Fay in the zone. Aldis just takes him out of the play. Cameron comes up with the puck behind the net. Here's Trevor Cameron flipping it ahead. Cameron gets knocked down. The puck comes around the boards to Tayo. Tayo looking to move it ahead. It bounces off a stick into the circle. Kenny Smith flips it ahead to Tayo. Now he's going to move it out to LeBombard. Here comes Brian with a puck across the red line. Flips it ahead to Cameron. Here comes Trevor as LeBombard gets upended. Loses it, gets it back again, falls down. The bouncing puck, and we're going to have a face-off in the circle as it was gloved by Andy Crow.
12:56 left in this hockey game, and Canton Golden Bears up by 4. Face-off will be down in the Canton end to the left of John Applenap. Looks like the Raiders are going to leave out the Trevor Cameron line. It's been very effective here today. Trevor centering between Brian LeBombard and Mark Tayo.
Canton down to 2 lines apparently because Parcell's line right back out there. Off the face-off, bouncing puck in the slot, but Coakley is there to pick it up, move it out to center ice. Stopped by Mike Inabinet. He lifts it high in the air, bounces along the red line, and Parcell trying to clear it ahead. Cameron takes it away. He has it poke checked away. Bullock, he winds. His shot goes way in behind the net, and Kenny Smith comes after it. Parcell takes it away, centering pass right in front, and it goes off an Abinet's skate into the corner. And now Trevor Cameron picks it up and flips it ahead for Tayo. A little bit too far. Comes to Coakley. Massena's going to make a change here. Comes to the Massena line. Kenny Smith. Bounce pass. Here's Terry with it. Terry busting by the defense. Here comes Brian Terry. Looks to center right in front. And Gladding had to get caught in his skate. Back to the point. Here's Spanberg. He circles by the D. Into the circle. His shot goes off a stick. Into the corner. And it's dumped down the ice. That's going to be right on. So no icing called. Massena will have to come back for it. Mike Inabinet. Out to center ice. Long headman. That'll be an icing on Massena. And the whistle blows and the faceoff will move back in the Raiders zone. 11:56 left. Third period on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. Massena trailing by a goal. Canton leads 5-4.
You know, there are times you shorten your bench late in the game, possibly, but if Coach Randy Brown decides to only go with 2 lines here in this third period, boy, he's taken an awful gamble. And when you've gone with 3 for 2 periods and are up by 1, this is a little early, I'd say.
Face off, it'll be Chris Applenap. He wins the draw back to the point, flipped into the corner by Danny Jacobs. In behind the net, John Fay with it. Trying to get it around the boards. It kicks free, and here comes B.J. Terry. Terry's headman goes by Spanberg. He's going to try to chase it down. It bounces right in the slot. Applenap clears it into the corner. Gladding bounces it right on. Rebound, and it's in behind. Terry couldn't get the backhander off. Here's Terry with it. Moving it in the corner. Trying to center it. Goes back to the point. And it bounces free. Spanberg, he takes a whack at it. Knocked down by Thad Green. And Green lugs it out to center ice. Headman to Applenap. Applenap to Green. Busting in his shot. And I think that hit the goalpost. It bounces back out to center ice. Massena busting back the other way. Here comes Brian Terry. He's got Gladding. Takes it in front. Shot. Save made by Applenap. And he tried to go in the 5-hole. And that time Applenap closed his legs in time.
Just a great move by B.J. Terry, busting down that right side. Got a half a step on the defenseman, and he turned it in and up, and just took a good save by John Applenap. But just a super move by B.J. Terry. And that line, again, of Terry, Gladding, and Spanberg in these 2 games that they put them together has been very effective.
Face off, and here comes Parcells' line right back out against the Chilton line. Face off left side in the Canton zone. Off the draw, puck goes in the corner. Coakley after it. He rips it around behind the boards. Picked up by Wallace, moving it up to Bullock at the wing. Bullock, headman, racing for it is Parcell. He's not going to get there in time as it crosses the red line, and icing will be the call. And the faceoff will move back inside Canton territory.
Good try, a good smart move by Canton. They caught the Massena defenseman on the strong side up at the red line, and the weak side forward busted by him. And the Canton player had the puck, banked it off the boards, and it just came within inches of sending him in alone.
Still 5-4 Canton on the Bob Post scoreboard. Parcell against Chilton. Off the face, it goes to Wallace in behind the Canton net. He rips it around the boards. Kenny Smith pinching in, trying to keep it in. It bounces to Bergeron. Centering pass goes bouncing back to the point. Frankie Joy with it. In the corner now. Bergeron trying to come up with it behind the net. Now Chilton does. Here's Chilton circling out from the left side. Looks to center, goes off a leg. Picked by Reed. He can't control it. Bounces to center ice. Here's Joy with it. Flipping it ahead. Back in the Canton zone again. After it is Brian Wallace. Wallace rips it to Coakley on the other side. Coakley flips it over to Wallace. Wallace trying to get it back to the point. It's Joy keeping it in. His shot goes bouncing in behind. Here's Bergeron. Circling. Looks to center. Wallace stops at side of the net. Applenap flips it with a big stick. And here comes Canton breaking out Bushaw. Bushaw looking to bust in on Frank Joy. Bushaw gets in front. The shot. Bullock. And the save made. The rebound is sitting in front. And Mike Ramsdell looked behind him, but he had it in front of him. And the net's off its moorings. And the face-off will come. And I'll tell you what, Bushaw made a heck of a turn of speed that time.
A great play. There's going to be a penalty. Jason Chilton's going to get probably a cross-checking penalty. But a great burst of speed by Mike Bushaw. And he drew. Frankie Joy did a good job playing him one-on-one. He pulled him to the outside. Laid a pass back in a slot. And the Canton trailer was right there. Was it Bullock? I'm not sure, but he cranked a real tough shot. You mentioned Mike Ramsdell wasn't sure he had it, but the key was he was in the right position. He took everything away except the top 2 corners and left the shooter not much to shoot at. He put it right on him. He didn't know he had stopped it, but good positional job by Mike Ramsdell.
Parcells right back out there, along with John Fay and Mike Bushaw on the power play. Massena's got Chilton in the box. Back to the point, Thad Green. Trevor Cameron and Brian LeBombard will try to kill it. Green with it. Flipping it to Bushaw. Bushaw back to Coakley. Coakley winds up. His shot knocked down in the slot. It comes to LeBombard, and he dumps it down the ice. Right on Applenap. Still 5-4 Canton. Green in behind his own net now for Canton. He's going to leave it for Parcell. Here comes Rob Parcell to center ice. Parcell now has it knocked off his stick, and it's dumped right back down the ice by the Raiders. Bouncing in the corner is Green again. Thad Green starts out right side. Long headman pass to John Fay. Fay takes it across, now goes toward the middle. Centering pass meant for Bushaw. It's poked by Aldis in the corner. Now Bushaw comes up with it again, takes it in front and fired it behind as he couldn't get a good shot off. Bouncing puck comes to LeBombard. He cranks it down the ice again. And now Massena's going to make penalty killing change here as they get Tayo and John Paul Genest out there. Canton moving it ahead again, dumped in the zone. In behind the net, it's stopped by the goaltender. And it's stolen away by Canton. The wraparound attempt, and Ramsdell makes the stop. It comes bouncing across the goal mouth. We have a whistle as the net's off.
Just an excellent hustle job in there by number 12, Chris Appelnap. He darted in. Mike Ramsdell left the puck in behind the net, and Appelnap beat the Raider defenseman and picked it up behind and tried to wrap around, but Mike Ramsdell equal to the task covering that short side. I'll tell you that number 16 for the Golden Bears, Mike Bushaw, he's a blue chipper.
Face off in the Massena zone off the draw. Back to the point. Here's Wallace trying to move it through. It's in the slot. Here's an opportunity, and the guy fanned on the shot. That was Andy Crow, and he just couldn't get it off. 5 seconds left. Canton with a puck in front. Aldis stick checks it away. Back toward the blue line. Fay with it. Keeps it, but it comes out to center ice. Chilton is back in the game as he comes out of the penalty box, and Massena moves it ahead to Chilton. Chilton trying to poke it free. It comes to Tayo across the blue line. Mark Tayo with it. Steps by a check, and then flips it in the corner. Appelnap after it there. Chilton throws a check on him. Back to the blue line. Smith bounces it in the other corner. Here's Gladding in behind the net. Gladding now trying to turn it around. Has it taken away. Chris Appelnap doesn't clear the zone. Kenny Smith centering past the Gladding. He couldn't get a stick on it. Appelnap in the corner again. Now bounces to the blue line. Smith gets over to keep it in. He is so good at that. The puck comes to Appelnap in behind. Gladding throws a check, and it's flipped on the glass. Bounces halfway out. Spanberg makes a good move. Trying to center it. Fanned on the pass, and the Golden Bears Appelnap clears it up into the stands.
I'll tell you, you mentioned, and we talked about that Kenny Smith, the quickness, it's just unbelievable. Hard to describe. But we've got 7:49 left in this very exciting hockey game. Canton up 5-4, and again, the face-off in the Canton end to the left of John Appelnap. And it's B.J. Terry, Josh Spanberg, and Derek Gladding line.
Off the face-off, it comes to Coakley behind his net. He flips it around on the other side. Gladding steps in front. Oh, centers it. Terry wasn't ready for it, and the puck dumped out to center ice. It climbs into the Massena zone. Frankie Joy after it. Kind of overskated. Bullock tries to hit the side of the net. And it's Smith making a good play again, flipping it along to Spanberg. Spanberg, long head man. We have a whistle. Behind the play, I don't think the net was off, but apparently Mike St. Louis thought it was, and that's why he blew the whistle.
Jerry, on that last power play for a short time out there, Coach Randy Brown did throw out that third unit of Crow, Geddes, and Fay. He's lengthened that bench just a little bit, but primarily going with the two lines.
Off the face-off. Here's Gladding busting through. He gets knocked off. B.J. Terry can't get the shot off. It's flipped into the corner. After it is Parcell. He rounds the boards with it. Kenny Smith trying to keep it in at the point. He can't. It's out to center ice. Here comes Bushaw. Bushaw busting in. Centers it. It's knocked in front, and it bounces free. Kenny Smith back the other way. Here comes Massena Spanberg. He takes it right down the middle. Gets a shot off, but it's a weak one. And Appelnap's going to cover it up.
Kenny Smith dove down to try to keep the puck in. Couldn't do it. It took a bad hop, went by him. Mike Bushaw, probably the fastest guy in this Canton team, picked it up. Looked like it was going to be a 2-on-1 situation. Oh, no. Guess who caught him from behind? There's only one guy in the league could do it, and it was number 5, Kenny Smith.
Chilton's line back out there now. Against the Fay line, I believe. We'll see here. No, it's going to be John Fay out there with Appelnap and Ed Fay. So that's a change. Face-off in the Canton zone left side. Appelnap will draw against Chilton. Off the face-off, it comes whipping around the board off the stick of Jacobs. Chris Aldis trying to keep it in at the point. He does momentarily, but Appelnap picks it up and starts back the other way. Appelnap, Aldis takes him out of the play, and DeRocher gets over to flip it in the corner. Bouncing puck, controlled by the Bears. Now it's intercepted by Massena. They don't clear the zone. It sits at the blue line, and it's out to center ice. Finally, it's Reed for Massena. Reed, stick handles, gets by the defense, but he has it poke checked by the goalie, Appelnap. It goes into the corner, to the point. DeRocher can't keep it in. Has to chase it down. Here's DeRocher with it. Trying to flip it ahead, but it's bounced away from him. Goes back in the Massena zone. Still 5-4 Canton. Here's Aldis. Ahead to Reed. Reed goes to Chilton. It bounces over his stick. Back to the Massena line. Here's a chance for Danny Bullock. He's going to bust in and score! No, the shot. I thought for sure that was in the. Where'd it come from?
I don't know. I agree with you, Jerry, but the official down there and the light never went on, and I thought that was in the net too. A turnover right at the blue line. The Massena defenseman turned it over, and Bullock and Parcells teamed up. Bullock stole it, and Rob Parcells got in behind the Massena defense, and he went in, and he, from about 15 feet out, he cranked one, and somehow it got in behind Mike Ramsdell. Must have hit the post.
Must be. Here's a shot from the point. That's wide. Puck whistles around to Mark Tile. Head man to Cameron. Here comes Trevor with it, trying to bounce the puck. He's got it. Here's Trevor Cameron, right side, centering pass. Bounces in front of Bombardi. Fired it high over the net. In the corner, Tayo trying to throw the check. Parcell picks up the puck and starts back the other way. 6 minutes left in the third period. Canton by one. Shot from center ice. Oh, that was an offsides anyway.
But a great job by Frankie Joy. Now, this Raider defense has been maturing since the beginning of the year. Really coming along, and one of the guys that's matured so much, Frank Joy. He's only a sophomore, but what he did, he forced the Canton player offside to draw that whistle. Smart move by Frank Joy.
Off the face-off at the red line. Cameron wins it and skates it through. Here's Cameron trying to go by the D. He's taken out of the play, stays with it, gets a shot on the rebound, bounces in behind. Here's Tayo with it. Tayo centering pass. LeBombard backhander. He fires it wide. Cameron goes after it in the corner. Trevor with it. Flips it to Tayo. Mark steps out in front. Shot, save. Rebound underneath him. Here's Cameron as a penalty. Another shot. And Canton touches the puck finally. And the Raiders will go on the power play. I think Chris Appleknapp was going to pick up the slashing call.
But the big Panther, number 9 out there, caused that penalty to be called. He just was unstoppable out there. In behind the net, in the corner, he was shedding brown shirts like a dog sheds hair, and they were bouncing off. They finally had to haul him down. And just prior to that, he threw it out to Mark Tile, and a great save, maybe his best of the afternoon by John Appleknapp. But the Raiders are going to go on a power play.
Chilton will take the face-off. Off the draw, Chile wins it, gets it back to the point. Aldis fakes the shot, flips it to Chilton in the slot. His shot, big save. Big save by Appleknapp, and down the ice it goes. 2 big saves in a row for John Appleknapp. Here's Aldis with a great shot by Chilton right for the corner, but Appleknapp got the pad out. Poke checked away from Chilton. Chris Aldis picks it up, though. Starts it back. Headman to Reed. It bounces by him back to the Massena line. 1 minute left in the power play. Raiders trailing by a goal. A headman to Chilton, and it bounces over his stick, comes out to center ice. Bushaw dumps it in the zone. Massena has got to turn it around here. Headman pass from DeRocher to Aldis. Here comes Aldis, takes it across. Here's Aldis in the corner now. Stick handles in the circle. Drops it in behind for Jason Chilton. Chilton now moving it into the corner. Here's Chilton looking back to the point. Here's Bergeron winding it up. His shot is blocked. He tries to keep it in. Is he going to? No, he's not. And it's Bullock taking it out to center ice. Here's Bullock. He's met at the blue line. The puck squirts away, but we're only down to 15 seconds. Massena's got one more rush on the power play. Here comes Matt Reed. Reed gets knocked down, gets back up and loses the puck. Stays with it, though. Along the boards, Parcell dumps it down the ice with 5 seconds left. That's going to take care of the power play right there. And Massena squandered a golden opportunity to tie this hockey game.
Couple of big saves in there by John Appleknapp, his best of the night.
Here comes Reed with it, flipping it in the zone. In the corner it comes. After it, Thad Green doesn't clear the zone. Here's Glading cruising into the corner, centering Spanberg in front, can't get the shot off, and it's iced, but it's going to be right on. And Massena has to turn it around. Frankie Joy in his own end. Long headman to Spanberg. He's got him busting in on the right side. Makes the move, but taken away from him by Danny Jacobs. He's trying to center it. It's cleared to the blue line and dumps back into the Massena zone. Comes out, not out to center ice. Kept in there by John Fay. Fay goes into the corner with Kenny Smith. It's under Fay. And Fay has it covered up. It's going to be outside the zone, I would guess.
And again, a smart move by the Bears here, by the coaching staff. They're sending just 2 forwards in and holding that third guy back at the blue line. They're playing 3 across. We mentioned early in the game John Appleknapp not being active, sitting back at his crease, but here late in this third period. He made 2 sparkling saves to keep this game Canton up by 1.
Trevor Cameron wins the draw, flips it to LeBombard. Here comes Bryan with it in the corner, Canton zone. Takes it in behind. He's ridden out of the play by Coakley. He stays with it, Tile. Here's Mark Tile looking up now in the corner. Tile takes it in behind. Centering pass bounces right in front, and Appleknap has it. And Cameron just gets knocked down from behind. And the faceoff will come inside Canton territory with 3:04 left in the third period. And Canton continuing to cling to the 5-4 lead.
Centering pass out in front, number 9 parked out. He must have had 3 Canton players all over him. Redirected, I should say, off of him, but Appleknap made the save.
Off the faceoff, Smith trying to keep it in. He can't that time. Comes out to Frankie Joy. Joy at the red line. Bounces it ahead for the Panther, Cameron. He flips it to Tile. I like that name. Tile at the red line over to Smith. Ahead to LeBombard. Back to Smith, and he dumps it in the zone. Takes a funny bounce off the back of the net. Brian Wallace for Canton picking it up there. Wallace's head man. Tile gets a stick on it. Knocked it out off the ice. They'll move the faceoff outside the zone.
Right down to the wire. 2:39 left in the third period. Canton up 5-4.
Faceoff will be outside the Canton zone as Chilton's line comes back out.
Unofficially, Jerry, John Appleknap has 11 saves in this third period, and Mike Ramsdell 4.
Yeah. Neither team has been able to score, though, in this third period. Chilton off the faceoff, goes to Aldis, to DeRocher. DeRocher to Bergeron, to Chilton busting in. Here comes Chili, nobody picks him up. Shoot the save. Oh, my goodness, I think he was surprised as both defensemen went the other way. Aldis keeps it in at the point, flips it in the corner. He's not going to have a much better chance than that to tie this game up. Here's Matt Reed with it to Chilton. Chilton, I think he was just so surprised. His shot, the save. Bergeron score! Sebastian Bergeron on the rebound, and Massena has tied it up.
I'll tell you, no one deserves one any more than Sebastian Bergeron. He's the guy that sent Jason Chilton in just a second ago with a great pass, sent Chilean all alone, and Appleknap robbed him. But that line just kept plugging and hovering around, and a loose puck came out of the corner, and Sebastian Bergeron was right there, and he slid it from the short side, just caught the post on the long side, right along the ice, and beat John Appleknap cleanly. And we have a tie hockey game with 2:15 to go.
Chilton picks up the assist off the faceoff. Chile wins it, flips it in the zone, racing for it is Reed. Matt Reed in behind the net, looks to center to Bergeron, goes off a leg. Green and Bergeron go together. And now Parcell tries to move it out. Picked up by Reed. Reed to Chilton. Chilton has it knocked away. Comes to Aldis at the point. He cranks it up. Deflected right on rebound. Chilton, another save. The rebound again to Chilton in the corner. Knocked off his stick by Thad Green. Green doesn't clear the zone. Here's Reed centering to Chilton. It bounced over his stick. Chilton comes up with it in behind, and Green falls down on the puck. And we'll have a face-off in the Massena zone. The Raiders are continuing to put the pressure on.
I'll tell you, they're all over Canton right now. That's understandable. You score a goal with a couple minutes left in the game, and it's bound to spread. But even before that, they've been all over the Bears in this period. The shots, the saves tell you that. But it kept working and working. It finally paid off. Sebastian Bergeron is 5th of the year. Jason Chilton and Chris Aldis picking up the assist, and that was at the 12:45 mark.
Cameron's line back out there from Massena with 1:44, and Canton's going to call a timeout.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent timeout by Coach Randy Brown. His club just coming a little loose at the seams right now. Massena putting all kinds of pressure on him, and he just wants to diffuse that pressure and get his kids back together and say, hey, look, you played a great hockey game. Look up at that scoreboard. We're still tied, so let's just everybody play their position, maintain your composure. And he's out there, and he's talking to him, and Coach Tim Long is talking to his club. Just an exciting hockey game.
Yeah, you're right. The fans are getting their money's worth, and it's a good crowd here at the Massena Arena. It's been an entertaining game. 5-5 tie now with 1:44 remaining in the third period.
And again, that last goal, it was kept in by Chris Aldis, dumped it down in the corner, and it came out. I think Jason Chilton got a shot, and Appleknap made that save, gave up the rebound, and from a tough angle, Sebastian Bergeron was parked off to the right-hand side of the goaltender, and it came right to him. He didn't waste any time, and he slid it. It was a tough angle, slid it along the ice, and just got inside that far post.
So that's where we are, tied at 5 with 1:44 remaining in the third period.
Again, unofficially, with these in this third period, we've got 15-4. John Applenap of Canton making 15 saves, and Mike Ramsdell called upon to make 4.
Trevor Cameron's line will be out there to take the draw against the Parcell line. And Canton, you said they got that third unit out there once this period, but that's been it.
And that might have been the determining factor.
Off the face-off, LeBombard shot knocked down. I think he hit his own guy, Tayo, with it. And Mark is a little bit slow on the uptake, but Cameron keeps it in for a moment. Now the Golden Bears have it. Here comes Bullock across the blue line. Frank Joy flips it in the corner. Bullock trying to chase it down. Bounces in the circle. Parcell knocked off the puck. And it bounces to Bullock. He falls down, and it's out to center ice. Here's Tayo to LeBombard. Poke checked away from him. And Parcell turns it back the other way. Canton with a 3-on-2. Here's the shot, fired way wide by Parcell. It bounces out to center ice. Massena breaks it. LeBombard with Cameron. Feeds Cameron. Cameron's shot. Oh, he just missed by an inch. Puck in behind, bounces in front, just wide again by Massena. Comes back to the point. Kenny Smith flips it. It's knocked down. Bounces to the blue line. Here comes Canton. Kenny Smith breaks it up. And it's finally dumped in the Massena zone with 50 seconds left. What do we have?
That might be a hand pass.
Nets off. Face-off will be, I believe, at center ice.
Oh, this place is just absolute bedlam down here. We've got the headsets on, and, the noise is coming through. I don't know what the noise level is, but it's high. Excitement here this afternoon at the Massena Arena. Two clubs going at it, hammer and tongs. The Canton Golden Bears ranked 2 in the north, and the Massena Red Raiders ranked number 1 in the Times poll.
Applenap against Chilton. Face off out to center ice. Dump back in the zone. Here comes Smith moving it ahead. It goes to Chilton. Chilton takes it across to Bergeron. His shot is gloved, and the save made. And Applenap is going to hold on for the face-off.
Jason Chilton going across the line, gaining the zone, dropped a little drop pass to Sebastian Bergeron, and he fired a 40-footer out there, but John Applenap, no problems. Number 33, Andy Crow, is down on the ice. Not sure what happened, Jerry. Did you see it?
I'm not sure what happened to him. I got to be honest with you. I didn't see it. It wasn't where the shot was, because the shot was just a little knuckleball on the right side. This happened on the left side.
On the opposite side.
39 seconds left in the third period. Bob Post, State Farm Insurance scoreboard says 5-5.
5-5, 39 seconds, and we are looking at good possibility of OT right here.
I would say so. Championship game. I guess this is what you hope for in a championship game. A close one and a wild and woolly, wide open affair, and that's what it has been. Face-off will be to the left side in the Canton zone. Chilton will take the draw. We got Chilton, Cameron, and Bergeron out there. A new combination for Massena. Golden Bears try to control it. Chilton trying to get a stick in there. He can't. Comes back out to Kenny Smith. He slides it back into the Canton zone. In after it there is Brian Wallace. Wallace gets by a check, has it poked away. Chilton in front. Backhander shot saved. Oh, Jason Chilton again. All by himself in front, and the bouncing puck, he couldn't corral it very well and didn't get a real good backhander off.
Oh, and number 10, Sebastian Bergeron, that flying Frenchman from Quebec, stole the puck in the Canton end, and that's twice he set Chili up all alone. Put it right out in front of him, and there wasn't a brown shirt around. He had John Applenap at his mercy. But as you said, he had a little trouble controlling it, got the backhander off. But again, John Applenap, give him credit. He made Chili make the first move out there.
Face-off will be to the right of Applenap.
Randy Brown, I think he just got 3 more gray hairs. If he didn't have any, he's got 3 after that one.
Chilton, Cameron, and Bergeron are out there now against the Parcell line. Face-off right side, off the draw. Comes to Cameron, trying to go back to the point. Kenny Smith keeps it in. Flips to Chilton. He winds it around. Bounces into the corner. Back to Chilton. Chilton pokes it by the check. Has it knocked away from him. 10 seconds left. Here comes Canton. Out to center ice. Cameron throws a check. And he kind of missed. But here comes Aldis. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. The save is made, but offsides is called. And we're down to 2 seconds left. We're going to see overtime here this evening.
Oh, I'll tell you, the Canton crowd are up on their feet, and they're giving a big, rousing cheer to number 20, Rob Parcells. The Panther had his sights set on him at the neutral zone. He was looking to put him in the nickel seats, but the Panther got the worst on that check. He went end over end, and Rob Parcells stayed on his feet, and that just delighted the Canton crowd to no end.
So we've got 2 seconds left in regulation. They'll drop the puck, and we're going to go to overtime. There we go. Regulation ends in a 5-5 tie. I guess it's poetic justice, Dave.
Love it. Love this, love the game. Just spruces up a Saturday afternoon here. And these two teams, they provided a lot of entertainment. We said been a lot of technical mistakes, a lot of, turnovers, giveaways in your own end, diving when maybe they shouldn't have, bunching up when they shouldn't have. But I'll tell you, they have provided excitement galore for the fans that are here this afternoon. And we do have a good crowd. I don't know how many are on hand, but it's a good-sized crowd.
Definitely a fan's delight and a coach's nightmare, this game.
The only goal of the third period, and it came late, real late, at the 12:45 mark. And as I said, no one that deserves it anymore because he's worked hard and he's been the hard luck guy around that net this so far in the first 11 games. But Sebastian Bergeron picked up a rebound to the right of Applenap, and he, from not very far out, he was maybe 5-6 feet out, and he slid one low along the ice and got inside the far post. Jason Chilton and Chris Aldis picking up an assist, and that was a big one. And that's where we stand. It was at the end of the first period. The Bears were up, 4-2, and then they were up 5-4 at the end of 2, and
it's all tied.
All tied here at the end of 3.
Next goal wins it, if there is one.
If there is
I'll
one.
be very, very surprised if we go through 5 minutes without another goal.
Well, if they continue to play this with the same philosophy that they have in the first 3 periods, I agree with you 100%. It's been hang bent for leather. I won't say hell, but it's it's been they've been going up and down here and throwing caution to the wind at times and leaving both goaltenders to fend for themselves.
That's for sure. Guess who's back on Wednesday?
Oh boy, can they top this? I don't know.
I don't think you're going to see the same type of game at all on Wednesday.
Oh, boy. Because that one is in the standings.
That's
for
right.
2 points, and this one is for bragging rights right here. But
yeah.
I'll tell you, if you ask that to either coach right now, they'd say, you're full of beans. This one.
5-5 tie as we get ready to head to. This is the second overtime for Massena this year. They played with Potsdam in overtime and ended up a tie. That time, it looked like Potsdam was playing for the ties. Massena controlled the overtime, but I don't think we're going to see that here.
I agree with you. And not only the second overtime for Massena, but the second OT here this afternoon.
That's right. The first, the consolation game went to overtime as Northwood scored in the overtime to win it, 5-4.
It will be interesting. I'm sure Coach Randy Brown will shorten his bench in this overtime. We'll see what the Raiders do if they go with 2 or 3 units.
Well, we're going to see the Chilton unit to start. I'm sure the Parcell unit will start for Canton in this OT. They will play 1 overtime, and I think then they declare co-champs. I don't think they go to shots. I hope not.
We got to pick who you're picking for 1 for each team.
Jason Chilton, because he's got to get a goal after all the chances he's had. And for Canton, I like Bullock.
Okay, I'll go with Bushaw for Canton and Brian LeBombard for Massena.
Off the face-off, Chile controls it at the red line, goes to Bergeron. Bergeron dumps it in the zone. It's knocked down, bounces free in front. Here's Matt Reed. Backhand knocked away. Reed looking to stick handle. Flips it in the corner to Chilton. Here's Jason stepping in front, gets a shot. The save made, I think, by Applenap. And it's cleared out to center ice. Aldis with it. Flips it ahead to the blue line, knocked down, back the other way. Here comes Bullock for Canton. Aldis takes him out of the play, and the puck is sticked into the corner Massena zone. In behind the net now. Comes in front. Bergeron loses it in front. Knocked away on the shot, and that was Mike Bushaw. To the point. Here's a drive from the point that's way wide, and it whips to Bergeron, and Sebastian moves it out to center ice. Here's Sebi with it. Across the red line. Stick handles across the blue line, and Chilton got caught offside.
Oh, a narrow miss at either end. Jason Chilton had a glorious opportunity down here. And Applenap robbed him, and then a big turnover at this end, and Mike Bushaw almost notched up the winner for the Golden Bears. Woo!
Now the faceoff will be just outside the Canton zone. Applenap had to... Oh! Applenap was out of his net. He was over by the Canton bench getting a new stick, and Butch Martin dropped the puck by mistake.
Oh, boy.
4:04 left in the overtime.
That would have created a little controversy.
Off the faceoff, comes to the Massena line, picked up by Frank Joy. Joy flips it ahead for Tayo. Tayo waved at it, trying to clear it in the zone, but Cameron does. Cameron's got LeBombard busting in. He gets it to him. He can't get the shot off. He lost his stick, and the puck comes in behind. He digs for it there. He's tied up, looks to kick it. Kicks it to Cameron. To Tayo, wraparound attempt. Bounces in front. They jam at it. Cameron says, where is it? Kenny Smith pinches in, doesn't keep it in. Bounces to center ice, and Cameron goes after it. And it's dumped down the ice. That should have been an icing call, but they didn't call it. Here comes Frankie Joy. Headman of Tayo. Tayo gets tied up at his own blue line, trying to clear the zone. Now Cameron gets it out to center ice. He gets railed. The bouncing puck. LeBombard after it. He can't catch up with it. Comes to Green. Green flips it to the Massena line. Kenny Smith. LeBombard. Oh, he gets checked by Green. Or excuse me, that's Jacobs. Here comes Parcells. Winds it up the shot. The save made. And Ramsdell is going to flip it in the corner, but the whistle blew as he held on too long.
Oh, boy. You mentioned Brian LeBombard really got a big-time hit down. He got a head down. He was looking down at the puck, and number 4, Danny Jacobs, really put a big-time hit on him, but he bounced right back up like a rubber ball.
Well, your question has been answered. Brian Terry is out there to take the face-off against Parcell. Why not?
Why not?
Off the draw, back to the point. Green winds up. His shot is blocked. Spanberg picks up the loose puck and starts it out. He drops it for Terry. Here comes Terry across the blue line. Looking. Centers in front. Gliding shot. Save. Oh, a big one. Big chance for Massena. Back the other way. Here comes Parcells down the ice. He gets by the check. Trying to drop it. Here's Bullock's shot way wide. Whips around the boards all the way out to center ice. We got a foot race for it. Green and Gladding. Green comes up with it. Gladding steals momentarily, but it's back out to center ice. Aldis dumps it in the zone. Both teams making a change here as the puck goes in the corner to Coakley. Whacks it out to center ice. And we got a glove. Somebody gloved it, I think, and the faceoff will come outside the Canton zone.
We talk about putting people on the backside, but that freshman, Matt Reed, just put Captain Danny Bullock, who was a senior and a pretty stocky one, caught him with his head down right in front of the Canton bench.
2:26 left in the overtime. 5-5 off the face. Frankie Joy. Kenny Smith. He just dumps it in the zone. In the corner it comes. Wallace after it. Flips it to the blue line. Out to center ice. Here comes Applenap. Has it poked away at the blue line. Offsides. As I think that was Bergeron that got back just to knock the puck enough so it caused the offside.
It was. Sebastian Bergeron plays both ends of the ice. Works as hard coming back as he does when they're on the offense. 2:12 left in the overtime.
Applenap against Chilton off the draw. It comes in the Massena zone. In behind the net, Kenny Smith with it. Rips it around the boards for Matt Reed. He just lets it go, doesn't get out of the zone. Here's a shot knocked down in front, and Frank Joy moves it to center ice. His pass intercepted by Applenap. He dumps it back in the Massena zone. In behind, Kenny Smith with it. Starts out right side. Flips it ahead on the wing. A sprawling check by Bergeron. Here comes Chilton. Chilton takes it across. Chilton trying to get by, has it knocked away. Kept in there by Reed. Reed centers, and it's knocked off a stick. He goes after it in the corner. Centering pass in front to Chilton. Back to Joy. Joy winds up. His shot is blocked. Comes in the corner to Reed. Reed stick handling, trying to get through. It's taken away from him by Eddie Fay. Back to the point. Frankie Joy winds it up. His shot blocked. Out to center ice. Here's an opportunity for Chris Applenap. And there's going to be a penalty on Massena as Kenny Smith gets back and touches the puck. A hooking call on Massena. Canton will go on the power play with 1:18 left in the overtime.
Again, Frank Joy elected to stay on the line, and he lost the gamble. Two Canton players got in behind him, but he didn't count on the speed or didn't want to take a chance. Kenny Smith was able to make up. He got back, but Frank Joy didn't want to take that chance, didn't realize it, and he just upended the Canton player. And officials hate to call penalties in overtime. In fact, he's going to get, somebody's going to pick up a misconduct, I do believe.
Sebastian Bergeron, I think.
But he had to make that call, and Sebastian Bergeron.
Greater penalties to number 3, Frank Joy.
I don't know what Sebastian's beef was on that. There was no question. It was a hook on the hook or trip, whatever you want to call it. But the official had to make that call. Coach Tim Long is really upset. He doesn't agree with the official, or he doesn't agree with me either. I think this goes back to a little more than today. I think there's more. I think it was the last time this combination was here when we had that parade of penalties in that third period against Seton Catholic. But I think these two guys here today, the Lake Placid connection, Butch Martin and Mike St. Louis, have done a pretty good job under circumstances that very difficult, because
I think, isn't there a minor that goes along with that misconduct?
That's right. That
Yep.
means a two-man advantage with 118. That's right.
That's a tough penalty to call, I'll tell you.
Oh boy, that's what he's upset on, the misconduct. Okay, not the call, the misconduct. I forgot about the minor that went with that, and the Raiders, for the last minute 18, are going to be down 2 men.
Off the face-off, bouncing puck controlled by Chilton, and he dumps it to the Canton line. Here's Green with it. Flips it over to Coakley. Coakley starts it. He's going to dump it. Now he goes ahead to offsides will be the call, as he looked like he was going to dump it, and Bullock started in, and then he called him offsides. 1:05 left in the overtime. Now it's just kill from Massena, hope for the tie.
Again, a tough call, the misconduct, but these officials, you can't change your standards. We don't know what Sebastian Bergeron said, and he should have been smart enough, Sebastian, in that situation, not to say anything to the official. So, I'm sure if you ask the official, he would say, I didn't want to make that call. I didn't want to make the misconduct call. It's really a tough one when they tack on that minor that goes with it, but the Massena player has got to know that you just have to keep your mouth shut.
That's right, and it's a tough lesson to learn.
Exactly. No, I don't know if you agree with me or not. There was no question on the penalty on the tripping penalty.
It was definitely a trip.
Frank Joy upended him because the Canton player got in behind him.
1:05 left in the overtime, 5-5 tie. Golden Bears with golden opportunity, I guess is the best way to put it.
Certainly is, and every face-off, even no matter where it is, in the neutral zone or not, with this precious little time left, whoever gains control of that puck, and the Bears, their object is to gain control off the draw and then gain the zone and set it up. Of
course, it puts an awful lot of pressure on Mike Ramsdell.
Oh, it certainly does, and that trio out there in front of him, and one is going to be the captain, Chili's going to be out there, and the scooter, number 5, Kenny Smith, and the other captain, big number 7, Chris Aldis. They'll be called upon here to hold the fort in the last 1:05.
It will be Parcell out there with Bullock and Bushaw off the face-off, and it's back to the Canton line, picked up by Coakley. He flips it in the zone, goes in behind the net. Stopped. Aldis lifts it, finds the hole, down the ice it goes.
Great move by Mike Ramsdell to stop that puck behind the net.
Here comes Thad Green with it. Green moving down the ice. 43 seconds. Flips it ahead for Bushaw. Bushaw centering pass knocked down by Chili. Stick handles and dumps it down the ice. We're down to 35 seconds left. After it is Green. Chilton throws a check on him. It whips around the boards. Aldis keeps it in. His shot right on. Save made. And we have a whistle. And Green got the worst of that one. And that's called finishing your check.
Jason Chilton, Captain Jason Chilton, who made a great play in the defensive zone. When Canton had gained the zone, he read that they were going to try a cross-ice pass, stepped up, intercepted it, and then shot it down the ice. As Tad Green went back to get it, Jason Chilton, when it left his stick, he just never stopped skating, and he finished his check down there. A good clean check took Green into the boards in behind the Canton net, and I don't think he had to expect it because John Applenap was signaling with his stick, there's a man on you. I think it's just the wind. He's just winded.
Randy Brown and Robbie Newvine, the two Canton coaches out there talking to him. He's up and he's okay.
Down to 26 seconds. Just a super job by Jason Chilton.
Face-off will be in the Canton zone. Canton wants to win, got to win this draw and move it down ice.
And they've got that Purcell's line with Bullock and Bush out there, and trying to see who the other two are.
Now we've got Cameron, Chilton, and Aldis for Massena. And coming out to take Green's place will be Wallace. Face off in the Canton zone. 26 seconds off the draw. Canton controls it. They try to get the trailer busting down ice. Here's the shot. It's blocked by Aldis. He flips it in the corner. Bushaw picks it up. Centering pass in front. They score. Rob Parcell gets the goal. And that's his hat trick. And Canton beats Massena with a power play goal, a two-man advantage goal in overtime.
13 seconds left in the OT, and the Canton Golden Bears, and I'll tell you, they have just mobbed Rob Parcells.
And that's Massena's first loss of the year.
Mike Bushaw brought the puck over the blue line, and he elected, it was a 2-on-2 situation, elected to shoot. Chris Aldis gave up the body and blocked the shot. It went in the corner. And Bushaw got in there, beat the Raider forward to it, and threw it out in front. Parcells was parked right out in front, and Mike Ramsdale had no chance on that. He just wristed one right to the glove side.
Well, Massena won't have too long to worry about this because they're going to see this same team again next Wednesday.
A very, very exciting hockey game, hard fought by both of these clubs, and it's great to be a winner on this one, tough to be a loser. Even Steven right through, just a great win for the Bears. Have to give them full marks. Tough loss for the Raiders, but as you said, didn't mean the 2 points in the standing, but regardless, both clubs wanted to win this one, and the Golden Bears finally able to get that monkey off their back of not having been able to beat the Red Raiders. Nice gesture down here, number 2, Danny Coakley giving a big hug to Mike Ramsdale, and Mike returned. Just love to see this going through. That's the way it's supposed to be. Both clubs played as hard as they can, and listen, there's no shame in losing this one. There's no shame in ever losing, but love to see that sportsmanship at the end of a game like this.
So again, the final score, the Massena Red Raiders falling in overtime. A goal with 13 seconds left in the overtime as Canton was 2 men up. And Canton wins it on a goal by Rob Parcell, completing his hat trick, and Massena loses their first game of the year, a 6-5 overtime loss in the championship of the Massena tournament. Stay tuned. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jerry.
Go ahead. Again, the final score, Canton 6, Massena 5 in overtime. Stay tuned for the post-game show.
Standing here for the Florida State Kansas City Central School Athletic Director Monty Slack to present the trophies. First of all, the second place trophy to the captains of the Massena Red Raiders.
14 there. Good, 15, okay.
And the trophy symbolic of the championship of the Massena Invitational.
I've got the 5 Massena goals and the overtime winner. Okay.
We'll see you Wednesday night. Now the announcement of the alternative tournament goaltender from the Northwood
5 Massena goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
The all-tournament team defenseman.
Did you get the overtime goal? Who got it? Did you get it? No. Parcells, any assist? Okay.
From Massena, Ken Smith.
Good call. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Time now for the Frenchie Chevrolet Oldsmobile post-game show on WMSA. Again, our post-game show brought to you by Frenchie Chevrolet Oldsmobile on East Orva Street in Massena. Again, the Canton Golden Bears coming up with an overtime victory over the Canton Golden Bears with an overtime victory over the Massena Red Raiders. They're giving out the all-tournament team. Let's see here. Ken Smith, Mike Saber, Trevor Cameron, Thad Green from Canton was the other defenseman along with Kenny Smith. And Jason Chilton picking up a forward as well. Most Valuable Player Award. It's got to go to Parcells.
Yeah, sure. Got 3 today and got the game winner.
Rob Parcell, the MVP. And the goaltender, I don't think we mentioned, that was Jason Pico from Northwood, wasn't it?
I didn't get the... Did Jason Pico get the goaltender award? Yeah.
Yeah, Jason
Northwood
Pico was the MVP goaltender. So the Canton Golden Bears hand Massena their first loss, a non-league loss here in the championship of the Massena Invitational. And what an exciting game it was, David.
I'll tell you, you and I are, and just like everyone else here today, our cup runneth over on this one. We got more than what we paid for on this one. All kinds of excitement up and down. Both teams just providing super entertainment here. Two wonderful high school teams, and the Canton Golden Bears getting just a standing ovation from their faithful across the way as they head off the ice. Big win for them. Proves that they can play with the big boys, and they've had trouble when they've come up against the Massena Red Raiders the past several years. They've been highly touted, but here today they got that monkey off their back and came away with a big winner.
So again, the final score, Canton 6, Massena 5 in overtime, and guess what? Next Wednesday, same place, same 2 teams at 7 o'clock, and that should be interesting.
And stay tuned to the same channel because we'll be here to bring you all the excitement.
You betcha.
Well, here this afternoon, the Bears got out early, 101 mark. Brian Coakley in a 55-footer put Canton ahead 1-0, and before you could say Johnny Appleseed, they were up 2-0. Rob Parcells at the 301 mark, Tad Green and picking up the assist, both long shots, and Raiders hadn't had a save, and they were down 2-0. But right back 3:13, 12 seconds later, that fine young freshman of the Raiders, Matt Reed, with assist from Jason Chilton, and here's the call.
Here's Chilton, headman, he's got Reed busting in with Bergeron. Reed shot, score, Matt Reed! And he faked, he used Bergeron as a screen, as a decoy, and he beat Appleknap, and Massena gets one back. It's 2-1.
A grievous mistake by the Canton defense, both up at the blue line in the same spot, and they both went for the same fake, and Matt Reed just bounced the puck by the boards and right around him. Canton restored that 2-goal lead at 7:40-51 mark. Rob Purcell's his second MVP. Rob Purcell's on a power play. Jacobs and Bushaw picking up the assist. And then Josh Spanberg is 10th of the year. That line of Terry Gladding and Spanberg playing super in this tournament. Just a great shot. Derek Gladding dug it out of the corner and fed it to Josh out in front. He made no mistake, put it upstairs to the glove side of Appleknap.
Centers it again to Spanberg, but it goes back to the point. Joy shot. He fired it wide. Comes around to the other point. Kenny Smith keeps it in for Gladding. Gladding to Spanberg in front, all by himself. Shot, score! Josh Spanberg, all by himself in the slot, and a beautiful pass from Gladding, and it's 3-2 Canton.
Bears answered that with one of their own at the 12:53 mark. Another power play goal. Danny Bullock, Mike Bushaw, and John Wallace picking up an assist and restored that 2-goal lead. And that's where we stood at the end of 4-2. Raiders coming out in that second period. Boy, it didn't take long, 22 seconds.